hello, 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 hello. I don't know where I'm going with that. I'll just stop now. Hello, welcome. It's warm today. Welcome to Warhammer Sunday, everyone. It's Sunday. It's that time of the week when I hang out with you guys in the live chat, which isn't appearing for some reason. That's weird. Let me refresh that live chat box. Hang on, hang on. How do I refresh it? Let's find out. Already with the problems. There you go. Source. There we go. It might kick in a minute. I don't know. It might not. It was working earlier. There we go. It's working again now. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. It is Fox from Model Making Guru. It's that day of the week when I sit down and crack on with either my own Warhammer army, which has faded off into the distance now and is long forgotten, so I don't know why I bother saying that, or I crack on with building the Warhammer Conquest partwork models to get them all done and ready and out the way for painting later on in the year. And obviously I am cracking on with the Warhammer Conquest. If you've not seen one of these shows before, I'm going to sit here and waffle on for 3 hours and do very little work. It's the way things go. It's more about you guys hanging out in chat. I've got the chat here in front of me on iPad, and you can see the chat there, but that's not the live typey chat. You do want to come and join in the live chat. Guthorm's looking after you in chat. It says Guthorm, you can see he's looking after you. But you want to come and join in, because while the world's on fire, we can't go anywhere. Well, most of us can't go anywhere. It's a chance to hang out with your mates. So do come along if you're watching. If you're watching on a mobile device like a tablet or a phone or something else and you can't see the live chat, just scroll down. It might be underneath. Or swap to the desktop version of the site. That might appear that way. But come and join the live chat. It's really worth it. If you're watching on something that's not YouTube, where you can't see the live chat, if all you can see is actually that bit there, then just click on the YouTube icon that's down under here, somewhere underneath the video player, and that'll take you to where you can join in the live chat. And you want to, because it's brilliant. A nice, safe space to hang out. But yes, welcome, welcome. Before we go anywhere, big shout out to all the people that make this channel possible. First and foremost, my beautiful, although some of them might not be beautiful, lovely, fluffy patrons who support me on patreon.com/modelmakingguru, that address there. They keep me going, they keep the bills paid, they keep food on my table, so massive thank you to all of them. And also to my two corporate supporters, emodels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs, and goblingaming.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your tabletop gaming needs. Links in the descriptions below the video, go and check them out. Big savings at Goblin Gaming, and awesome service and savings at emodels.co.uk. It's really warm in here today. It's one of those days when if I have the window open, it'll get hotter. If I have the window closed, it's hot. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's going to cool down and rain in a bit, so that might help a little bit. What is the plan for today? Today we are carrying on with issue 61, which is the objective markers. We did a couple last week, and yes, Chris, we might get a couple done. You never know. We'll see how many I get built. So we're going to crack on with the objective markers today. As always, trying a different camera angle because we're building small things, so I didn't want the camera to be hundreds of feet away. I need to move that. There we go. I'll have a quick look at the chat and see who's in. We have... I'm going to sort of whiz through the chat really quickly because I want to crack on. But the first person I have is Pascal. It's, of course, he was always first in chat. First in my chat, good day. We've got Nim is in, Nimcinder in, Eric Graham or Draka. We've got Iru in. Nice to see you, Iru. You've been away for a little while. We have the Raging Modeler. More Draka into Zone 88. Hi Fox, hi all. Welcome into Zone. Chris at Gross Models, one of your lovely mods. Dad from Scaly Models is also one of your mods. He's in. Paul at Team Inept. Your mods are lovely, fluffy little forest creatures with big puppy dog eyes that are completely adorable, and they'll make your heart go all fluffy. But if you cross them, they'll burn you alive and feed you to the ravens. So don't cross them. We have Tim Wilkinson is in. Welcome, Tim. Cynical Steve. We have welcome, Cynical Steve. Eric Graham or Draco. We've done Model Making Mayhem. We have there's Dad at Scaly Models. Raging Modelers in. Welcome, dude. Beyblade Master. Teeth. Beyblade Master or XX Beyblade Master XX. That's such an Xbox Live game tag. XX with XX on either end. What is the point of XX on either end? I never got that on gamer tags and stuff. There, XXX Sniper Elite 003X. What's the XX for? I never got that. Anyway, Beyblade Master's in. Hello. He's going to lurk apparently. We shall see. You should join in the chat. It's more fun that way. My voice is going already, and I've only been going for like 2 minutes. Big coffee available for necessaries. We have stuff. Spid is in. Welcome, Spid. Eric Graham. Apparently Dad's on. He's on his mobile data today because his broadband's fallen over, but he's got unlimited, so he's not, he's not burning up mobile data points at great expense. And Eric Graham says that's different. Everyone else is not streaming or having internet issues, and Fox is streaming. It's the other way around, where Fox is having issues and everyone else is streaming. It's usually the other way around, isn't it? Colin from Festa67's workshop is in. I'll say that again in English. Festa67's workshop. All right, Colin. Just come out from doing his stream with Dave. Always good laugh their stream. If you don't watch it, it's before me on Sundays. It's 12:30 till, or is it 12 now? Colin, have you changed it? It's 12 or 12:30 till 2:30. Him and Dave. It's good fun. You should go and watch it. Not right now because it's finished now. We have Graham oh wow, hang on. Guthorn, just take over. My words don't work. I can't brain my words out. Graham McRobert is in. Welcome, Graham. The Raging Modeler, or Draka, Gross Models, Model Making Mayhem. All doubting, questioning how much I'm going to make. Chris thinks I'll make 2 nubs. Iru asks how many limbs. Jamie Bone is in. Welcome, Jamie. It's 15:01. He's late. The thing you have to remember is that when I press go on my stream, this is how I do it, right? It's always a little bit out because I press go at 2:44 and 30 seconds. No, I press go. Yes, I press go at 2:44 and 30 seconds, and then I go from the test card to the pre-roll at 2:45 on the nose, and then of course it should be about 15 minutes, so it should. But if I'm a little bit late with the, going to the pre-roll at 2:45 and 0 seconds, obviously push it back a bit. And then I forget, of course, you've got a 30-second or 20-second delay. So when I'm always hitting go at exactly 2:45. Of course, you're not going to get it for half a minute. So my perfect, amazing timing is always a bit, I just realised the day, it's like, oh, hang on. They don't get to witness my amazing timing because it's delayed. It's rubbish, that. I've been doing it all these years and nobody's ever noticed. Are we? Graham Robert, Steve, Eric Graham, Jerry Bone, Tim Wilkinson, names. Ryan Craig's in. Welcome, Ryan. Athol McNichols in as well. Welcome, Athol. We have Team Inept. Paul at Team Inept is in. Another one of your mods. Better than my Dutch. 12 to 2:30 every Sunday, says Festa. Yes. Your Dutch is awesome. I want some. What were the Popper Nigger disease? Popper Jika jitter disease, you called them, or something? Proper jitter disease. I don't know. Little puffy pancake things. Anyway, people are already answering the bench and belly question, and Dad hasn't even asked it because they've kind of just pushed that out of the equation now. Eric Graham says to ask the question. Dad doesn't, and everybody starts answering it. Space Hamster's in. Welcome, Space Hamster. Let's go through quickly. Tim Wilkinson, belly, bacon and chili cheese, Baps, bench, ATRT from that Ravel. Sniffle then, I do apologise. Limcinder in bench, many kits, but Master Grade Magnum build divers right now. Belly working on that. Cynical Steve, belly was KFC fillet tower box meal with beans. I've got the wrong glasses on now. I wonder I can't see the chat. Simpleton. Belly was KFC fillet tower box meal with beans, benches, an old Zoid toy, and some tiny water pistols that I am fettling together. Yes. Eric Graham, belly, grilled cheese and sandwich and coffee, bench, 135th Walker Bulldog. Cool. Paul at Team Inept says for Beyblade that the XX is 2/3 of a prong. I like that. Almost prawns, but not quite. Ryan Craig is working on the Edward Chattanooga Choo Choo. Beck Storm is in. Welcome, Beck Storm. Edward's in. Edward Leonard. Welcome, Edward. Mordraka says, belly cottage pie with cheese. And puts cheese in big capital letters. Bench Conquest issue 46. We're on issue 61 today. Exhausted after airbrushing all day. I feel like I'm finally getting used to it now, says Beck Storm. Yeah, we are getting a lot of time at the bench nowadays, aren't we? Ross Medlock's in. Afternoon all. Welcome, Ross. Jitter disease doesn't sound edible. And Athol says, oh, belly tonight with pork slices in cheese buns with onion relish. That sounds rather delightful. Onion relish. I relish an onion. Yes. Right, so we're up to date with the chat. Welcome one and all. Like I say, if you are watching this and you can't see the live chat, make sure you're viewing the desktop version of the website on your mobile device, or scroll down, it might be under the video. But you do want to come and join the live chat because it's where all the cool kids hang out, it's where all the fun is. So let's get some builder-lating done, shall we? I'm going to be using my lovely sanding cushion that Kenneth got me. I still haven't figured out or remembered the right way to use it, so I'm just making it up, but it works for me. Last week we built the... What did we build? We built the Medicae servitor, which we realised to our horror is a person hacked into a mobile machine whose pure purpose is to inject people and have a light on it. That's his entire purpose in life, so that was a person once. Horror of it. The Medicae table, which is just a table, surgery table, and we made the Sacred Reliquary, which has the arm of a dead dude on it. Little mini reliquary for his arm. Next, we have to make ammunition crates. Wow, that's not going to be complicated. Let's see. Crate, lid, done. Cool, that won't take long. Let's get some ammunition crates done, shall we? Then we'll have another quick look at the chat. So how is everyone? I hope you're all well. I am well myself, a little bit warm. Sorry, Gotham. A little bit warm and toasty. How are we doing on camera? We're kind of off camera. I know I'm kind of close up with the camera when I'm cutting stuff off sprues. It's not ideal, but it's fine. When I'm working on stuff, you'll get a better view. Yeah, fine here. Nothing really to report. If you missed my Skyrim stream yesterday, don't worry, I didn't do one. Why you missed it? I instead streamed the Falcon build. What I'm doing with the big E-Models Millennium Falcon is, while I'm just doing the building part, before I crack on with the painting part, it's kind of really boring when you just sat by yourself. And I started to film the building part, but it would have been really boring as well, so as a video. So I just thought, you know what, I'll just stream it. So I'm actually building up the Falcon over a series of streams over the coming weeks. And then when everything's built, I'll film some proper videos for the painting. So stay tuned for more of those. That was on the E-Models channel. It was on E-Models yesterday. I will be uploading it to my channel. I've uploaded it now, and it'll go live after this stream, a bit later on this evening. And you can watch it if you want to, if you missed the live version. Eric Graham says, great, I get more time at the bench. Also me. Ugh, the workbench. It's true, isn't it? It's true. It is true, you know. It is actually true that, you know, when I was a working man and I had a 9 to the 5 job, I would spend all day thinking, I can't wait to get home. Well, I would typically think one of a few things. One, I'd be thinking, I can't wait to get home and get back on the Xbox to play me Fallouts or me Skyrims. This is going back a few years. Or whatever it was I was playing at the time. Or I'd be like, I can't wait to get out of this place because it sucks and I want to get home and I want to get to the bench and work on the model I'm working on. And I spend all day at the office doing my crappy call centre job. What's crappy? Doing my crappy call centre job, talking to absolute chud muppets on the phone all day long. And just self-loathing was in abundance. And just dreaming of what I'd do when I get home at the workbench. And then I'd get home and I'd be like, ugh, can't be bothered. Too tired. I just want to eat food and watch crap on the telly and go to sleep. And I did, and that's the thing. And it's always the way. It's constantly like that. It's a battle for us creative types. You know, you have this, when you're not doing it, you really want to do it. You get the itch. But as soon as you put in the position where you can do it, you're like, oh, I'm lazy now and I just want to sit and play Xbox or something. It's really, I mean, I don't know if it's just me or a small number of us, but it really is like a constant battle. Because, you know, there's a lot of people who, if they get time at the bench, they're brilliant. They're just, oh, brilliant, oh, and they just make the most of it. But maybe it's something to do with a certain type of creative type that I can't do that. I do get distracted. I'm like, oh, I want to do this thing really bad, but when I can do it, I'm like, no, I don't want to do it now. Very strange. Yeah, it's weird. I don't do that job anymore, obviously. Obvs. Have we done this one? No, I haven't. Have I done this one already? I think I did that one already, didn't I? Yeah, so I did the stream yesterday for E-Models. There'll be more of those, so do make sure you subscribe to the E-Models channel. I'm streaming it live on their channel because it's a build for them, and I'm archiving it up on my channel so I can get some benefit from it. And it's just while I'm doing the building, because it's a choice between sit and crack on with the building and time-lapse film it. I'm just listening to podcasts, which sounds great, but it's really boring because I long for human contact. Or live stream it, hang out with you guys while I'm live streaming it. How much more fun is that? It's much more fun. And then I get less work done, but it'll take me weeks and weeks. So that's fine. We don't mind. But I need to get that thing finished anyway, because I've got so much I need to get on with. So much I want to crack on and do. I need to get Tabletop Trauma Centre. I want to get Tabletop Trauma... I'll say all that again with actual proper words. I want to get Tabletop Trauma Centre up and running. It's really hard to say that. Little series, occasional series. Big nub. Big nubs. What else been going on? Not a lot else been going on this week. I've been doing that on the Falcon build. What else? Not a massive amount. I've been doing some work for remodels, but there's not videos and stuff. It's just behind the scenes stuff. It's kept me busy this week as well. What's been going on? It's not been the most pleasant of weather week. It's been a kind of dull and rainy week. It was nice and warm today. It was all right yesterday. It's nice and warm today. When the stream is finished. Dad normally streams about 6:15 after I finish, but he might not be streaming today if his broadband's down. So if he's not streaming this afternoon, I should go and sit in the garden and await my noodles, because I'm having noodles. I've put that back in there, haven't I? Having noodles for the dinner. Yeah. Japanese beef udon. Yes. I would not want to live in a world where there was no udon. And every time I get my Japanese beef udon from our local takeaway, which is unusual, a Chinese takeaway doing Japanese, but there you go. Every time I get the beef udon, I can't help but be reminded of the beef bowl challenge from Persona 4. So I have to eat it all and get to the bottom of the plate to build up my courage and strength and dexterity and all the other stats. It never happens. Apparently, by the way, here's a bit of news for you. Random video game news. If you never had a PlayStation 2, for some reason, or if you never had a Sony PSP or a Sony PS Vita, well, let's start that again. If you've never played Persona 4 on original PlayStation 2, or if you never played the much improved version, Persona 4 Golden, on PS Vita when it came out, I had a PS Vita, then it is now out on Steam for PC. And I do strongly recommend it. Because you don't hear me talk about it very often. If ever, basically. And I always got about Fallout and Skyrim and stuff. But it is one of my favourite games. I've never actually fully finished it. But it's one of my favourite games with some of the best characters of any game. And it's awesome. I've looked at the other Persona games and they've looked boring to me because they look silly, it's serious and boring. But all the characters in Persona 4 just fell in love with straight away. So if you've never had a PS Vita, and frankly there wasn't much else you could play on PS Vita anyway, I got a PS Vita just to play Persona 4 Golden. If you've never played Persona 4 or Persona 4 Golden, and you don't mind a bit of turn-based combat, an awesome Japanese... Well, the company that did the translations did a fantastic job, because it's obviously a Japanese game and it's steeped in Japanese lifestyle and culture. But it's very awesome. You have to just go and get it. It's 20 quid. You can't go wrong. If you're on PC, go and get it. Then I can make lots of Persona references and everybody will understand what I'm talking about. Like, the Mega Beef Bowl Challenge. Oh, the Mega Beef Bowl Challenge, or was it the Rainy Day Beef Bowl? I think it was the Rainy Day. I don't know. Anyway. I don't even know how I got onto that. Reggie Modeler says, the Vita was great. It just didn't get the support from Sony. Yeah, I got myself a Vita. The PlayStation, the PSP. See, you all know me as an Xbox gamer, but I have had PlayStations. I had a PlayStation 1, I had a PlayStation 2, and I had a PlayStation 3. I didn't get a PlayStation 4. But most of my gaming has always been on Xbox, because that's where all the games I wanted to play were. But we've always had the Sony consoles. And I had the PlayStation, the PSP when it first came out, I was like, wow, that looks fantastic, but it's got one thumbstick. Yeah, I'm not getting that. One thumbstick, GTFO. No, thank you. But then the PS Vita came out with twin thumbsticks. I'm like, oh, now I can do that. Because I never had a handheld before. Mama Fox had like a 3DS and stuff and all that. She was just more than me. I was like, I need a handheld just for farting about. And I got the PS Vita and I got the little third-party add-on kit to make it more triggers, better triggers and stuff underneath. And that was quite good. But the thing I realised about it very quickly was, A, there were almost no decent games for it. I basically played Persona 4 Golden, the not very good Uncharted thing, and Siphon Filter, I think, which wasn't very good. And the power lead was way too short, so I could play on it, but I had to sit within about 2 foot of a plug socket, which was rubbish. But then I realised I could plug it into my TV. There was a way to get it up to your TV, and that was kind of all right. But it was fine. But it was a beautiful piece of technology, and I used to open it up. I used to open up the little hard case I had for it, and I open it up and I'd go, oh, look at that, it's beautiful. I just want to play with its computer game. I just want to get game. And then I'd turn it on and be like, nope, there's still nothing to play. Oh, and I'd put it away again back in its box. And because it had this great battery on it, it just stayed powered up for like 8 months. I need to wipe my nose, hang on. So anyway, yes, I'm going off on a tangent there. Oh, excuse me. Sniffly nose. Sniffly nose. So anyway, via all that circuitous conversation, if you haven't played Persona 4 or Persona 4 Golden, and you're on PC, go and get it. I would actually say, if you can find yourself a second-hand PS Vita, they're probably not worth much anymore. It is worth getting a PS Vita just to play Persona 4 Golden. And if you've got the choice of Vita, PC, or original PlayStation 2, go for the Vita or the PC, because Persona 4 Golden's like the remastered version, and they've improved a lot of stuff in the game that was a bit clunky in the original version, so yeah, go for it. So that's out on PC now. Yeah, I'm cool. I think people are still asking the bench and belly question and everything else, so I'll have a look at the chat in a moment. Now, I'm on a new kick at the minute to do more work and less talking, so I do apologise if I'm not quite as conversational in the chat. That kind of schmutz on this. A bit of mismould or something contaminated the plastic there, I think. Where's my centre point? There it is. Yeah, something contaminated the plastic there, right? Oh, itchy, tickle your nose, go away. Yeah, it feels like I've got little tiny creatures walking around in my nose. Oh, tickly and itchy. Oh. I've clearly got some kind of thrips. Maybe I've got canker, I don't know. Now, I'm not using my spanky new sanding sticks that Kenneth got me, and there's a very good reason for that. They're over there in the drawer, and I already had these out from doing the Falcon stream, so I was like, I'll just use these. So don't be offended, Kenneth, if you're watching this. I've not forgotten. I can't use them on the Falcon build because E-models don't sell them, so. And I just happen to have these out now, and I was like, yeah, I'll just use the ones I've got out. I kind of didn't realise till the very last minute, and we were live, and I'm like, I'll just use my UMP ones, hey. I do like them, those sanding sticks, though. Infini, aren't they, made by Infini, I think. Infini, they've all got it, Infamy. Oh, carry on joke, sorry. Little bits of fuzz on the plastic there that are refusing to come off. Yes, I'm keen to get on with the next thing after this for a number of reasons. One, it's going to be really good fun. I think you're going to like it. Patrons know what Tabletop Trauma Centre is because patrons have had a teaser video exclusively for them that was put up on the Patreon last December, I think, announcing what it was going to be. But so it's going to be fun, but also I want to use my new broken toe brushes that I haven't even unsheathed yet. And I can't really use the brushes on the Falcon because it's a big spaceship, not a mini. So yeah. I like these ammo boxes. Look at a big collection of las rifles in there all stacked up. I like that. And no, I'm not drilling the barrels out. GTFO, you can't get in there. Yeah, big stack of las rifles, and this one's got a big stack of ammo packs. I like the fact, I was reading up about las rifles. Now, apparently it's supposed to be laser rifles. That's the correct way to pronounce it. But you know what? No. I don't think so. LAS rifle. It's a las rifle. Laser rifle. I know it's laser rifle, but that just sounds like chump. It just sounds like nonsense. Laser. No, las rifle. Las guns. Yeah, I'm reading up about las rifles, and apparently, according to the law, because the joke is that the Imperial Guard, the Astra Militarum, all the grunt troops just have las rifles, and they're just called torches or flashlights because they're completely useless against most things. You know, they won't break through. I can hear noises. Oh, it might be neighbours doing the lawn. It won't break through ceramite armour that Space Marines wear. It won't do much damage to vehicles. Not as a single unit. You know, if you get about 1,000 troopers together, they might do some damage. But, you know, they're really feeble and they're completely... I mean, it's like, you know, if you basically given some cardboard armour, a las rifle, and thrown into the battle, and there you go, you're expendable. If you're a guardsman. But the amusing thing is, if you read the lore, the las rifles, they're actually more powerful than pretty much any laser we have today in real life. They're still apparently they're incredibly powerful. They're just, compared to the armaments and weapons of the 40k world, they're absolutely useless. So apparently if you would wield a las rifle today in the real world, it would just melt through a car or a person or a brick wall or something. It'd be like the most devastating weapon you can imagine. But in the 40k universe, they're all but useless. I think that's hilarious. I can hear little noises, but I think it's a neighbour doing it's like a sort of rattly noise, but I can't quite tell. It could be raining, but I doubt it. It could be aliens. Could be somebody. Maybe Mama Fox is frying bacon that I can't smell. It's like odourless bacon. I don't know. Can you imagine that? That'd be the worst invention ever. Odourless bacon. Yay. No. So yeah, so I'm keen to get done with the Falcon because I want to test out my new brushes and I really want to get going with the tabletop trauma videos. And then I really want to get on with my Macarius Vanquisher and my Malcadoran Furnace that George bought me. Oh, I know I'm not the biggest fan of resin, but when I look at those tanks, I'm like, oh, moist thoughts about painting them. So yeah, I really want to get on with them. And then, of course, I've got the Baneblade. Baneblade! Oh, I've just remembered. Oh, tonight. Don't forget. You know, normally, like, Colin and Dave do their show from 12 to 2:30. I do my show from 3 till 6. Dad does his show from 6:15 to usually about 7:15, half 7. Although possibly not tonight if he's not on the internet. Do let us know before the end of the show, Dad, if you're going to do a show or not. And then normally Chris does his Warhammer Sunday. But Chris isn't doing Warhammer tonight. No, Chris isn't doing it tonight because Ted's doing his Baneblade. Yes. I can't wait to watch this. Ted's doing his Baneblade. Him and Chris would be like, they're kind of sharing that slot a little bit. So like 1 week it might be Chris and then the next week it'll be Dad. It'll be Ted doing his Baneblade. And I really can't wait to see Ted build his Baneblade. I am so excited about this. It sounds ridiculous, but to watch Ted build a Baneblade is going to be brilliant. Oh, because Ted's got this wonderful kind of like... Ted and Chris to me are very similar, and this is why I love them to bits. Ted and Chris to me are very similar. They're like puppy dogs in that everything's brilliant. You know, you could give them a pencil, they'd be like, wow, brilliant, look at those pencils, fantastic. I love that in people when they're like just naturally curious and enthused about everything. And I love it. And Ted's got that, and Chris has got that. So why I loved getting Chris into War. I didn't get him into Warhammer, but when he kind of fell into Warhammer by no choice of his own. And why I like to force it on Ted, because it's just brilliant. So I can't wait to see Ted do his Baneblade. Because, you know, Ted does his tanks. He likes his tanks. He did that big 1/16 scale Panzer, and it's like, yeah, that's going to be great. That looked fantastic. So, see a big-ass Baneblade. Right, before I glue these together, I think I'm going to glue them open, because it's a box full of las guns, las rifles. Of course I'm going to glue it open. Yeah. Let's have a quick look at the chat. I'm going to have a swig of coffee. Yum, yum, yum. Team Inept says, look at the... No, hang on, let's read it properly. He says, look at the reliquary. I can't do it. It's not the right word. It's not got enough... Hang on. It's really warm and I'm over oh, God, I can't even use words. What does over hyperating even mean, Fox? You absolute chud muppet. Honestly, I'm just completely... It's because I'm excited about Ted doing his Baneblade. Oh, yes, look at the... I can't even say it. I'm not going to bother. Move on, next comment. They're talking about the Medicae Servitor and they're saying... It's Johnny 5. Looks like him. Don't disassemble him, Fox. No, disassemble. Cynical Steve says, did we all see Duncan Rhodes do a kit bash train on his channel? I was grinning like an idiot at a proper professional doing a kit bash. Yeah, it was great when he made a train out of all the expensive £35 scenery kits. Yeah. This is what the only thing that made me laugh with that was he says use these chunks out of the scenery kit. It's like 30-40 quid for that scenery kit for them plasmatronic spamulon vents or whatever they are. Yeah, I built a couple for this. They're like 20-30 quid. So I mean, you are going to use them. You're still making scenery, but it's not cheap. All the other bits and bobs, it's like 50-60 quid's worth of scenery kits that you have to buy just to make that. Ooh, yes, but no, it was nice. It was good. Although a big, massive seam line down the middle, he could have filled that in. No, I don't know. Professional. Paul says, Team Inept bench, chopping up cardboard boxes for recycling, belly, chili later, and 2 big lumps of homemade flavoured shortbread in the fridge, cooling before baking. Yeah, he's making his own cold shortbread. I think he said iced shortbread. Fox at the call centre. Hello, Jar Jar Binks Studios. Jar Jar Binks speaking. Silence. Chris at Gross Model says, human contact. Well, us lot. Chris says I have a premiere at 8. I thought Ted was doing his stream at 8 or 9. Oh, is Ted doing his stream at 9? Okay, you need to correct me then. I'm assuming you've got the premiere at 8 and Ted's doing his stream at 9. Then we'll find out in chat in a minute because he'll correct me. Death Noodle says the raging modeler. Ooh. Eric Graham says, I lost the modelling mojo almost 2.5 months ago. I have projects I want to do with plastic kits and model railroading, but I've been like, The trick is, though, and I've said this a million times, if you lose your mojo, and I do it all the time, I sit there and I look at my bench and I'm like, bollocks to it, can't be bothered. But I do it for a living, so I have to. If you lose your mojo, the worst thing you can do is force it. Like many things in life, the worst thing you can do is try and force it. What you need to do is just go off and do something else. Completely. Just put it aside, forget about it, and go and do something else. And that's the trick. So for me, if I get stuck in a rut, it's Xbox time. Because it's completely unrelated, it's something completely different. I can switch off and not think about the model making at all. And it's brilliant. Because the worst thing you can do, and I've said this a million times, but the worst thing you can do when you're model making is grudge build or grudge paint. This is going to be a pain in the bum now, isn't it? Could give you a decent proper looking hinge type scenario, but never mind. Yeah. I know what we're going to have to use. I'm going to have to get drastic on its ass. We have to get the horrible stinky stuff out again. Boo. Yes, so the worst thing you can do is force yourself to do anything creative. The whole point of doing something creative is that it's creative. It's spur of the moment, it's using your imagination, it's fun, it's silly nonsense, and it's enjoyable. That's the whole point. If you're super reluctant, you're like, I just don't want to, I can't be, then you risk doing a bad job, because if you're doing something you don't want to be doing, you'll just resent it. And if you resent something, you're not going to do your best work. Where's the lid for that then? There it is. If you're doing something and resenting it, well, you're not going to give it your best work, are you? So yeah, the worst thing you can do is force it. So if you do get the mojo loss, even if it's like 2 months, like you said, even if it's 2 months, don't think about it, don't sweat it, just go and do something else. So I'm lucky that I've got my Xbox and I enjoy playing my games on there, so that's a nice little break for me. I can just step aside and go and do that for a bit. And it's so totally unrelated that I'm not thinking about model making. And it's, you know, The reason Shakespeare quotes are so universally applicable is because they're right. Absence does make the heart grow fonder. Oops. These are not fitting very cooperatively. There we go. No, we don't. Yes, we do. No, we don't. Oh. So yeah, just don't think about it. Don't force yourself to go at the bench. Just go and do something else. My golden rule is if you sit down at the bench and the first thing your brain thinks is, ugh, then you don't want to be sitting at the bench. It's a sign that you need to be somewhere else doing something else. Something completely unrelated. So if you no, don't go and do something else creative. If you can't sit at the bench and do model making, don't go off and then try and scratch build something out of wood, because it's the same kind of mojo that you're using and trying to channel. So don't do that. Don't go and do something else in the same vein. Go and do something else completely unrelated. So you're using different parts of your brain, and the creative side of your brain that you use for the model making is switched off and gets a chance to rest and go to sleep. Because the thing is that with any creative endeavour, you do it enough. There are some people who are lucky that they can just sit there and do creative things non-stop, constantly, and they love it, and they're in their element. But there are people like the rest of us, sometimes it takes a lot of effort to do creative things, and you can get burnt out. You know, it's like eating the same meal every day. You think of your favourite meal. Yeah. Now, if you had to eat that every single day, after a while, it would not be your favourite meal. And I speak from experience. When I was younger, my dad used to make this turkey roast. He made this turkey roast on a Sunday. It was like, stick it in the oven, there you go. With all the veggies and stuff. It was really, I was like, oh, it's really nice. And then we had it every Sunday. And after about a year, I'm like, I can't eat that without gagging anymore because it just reviles me. But yeah, just go and do something else. Don't force it. There'll come a point when you're happy doing whatever else you're doing, and you'll suddenly think, oh, you know, I could just go and do this at the bench. I could do this. Or what? You start thinking about the making part, and then the moment you have the thoughts about it, without prompting, you can go back at the bench. Your creativity's returned and woken up. Jamie Bones says, what is premiering to Chris? If you do a premiere on YouTube, it's when you make a video public, but it's the first time. Like when I make a video public, it's just there. If you do a premiere, when it launches, it has live chat just for that premiere. So it's basically streamed. So it's lower quality for that premiere. It's like 720p, but it streams rather than is just a released video, and it has live chat with it. It basically streams from YouTube to YouTube as a stream. It's got live chat, and then once the premiere is finished, it's just a normal video. So it's like a stream of an episode, just for the once. More Draka says, hey Fox, what do you think of the new Space Marine bikes that are coming soon? Yeah, they look pretty good. They're still not as awesome as the Atalan ones with like the off-road dirt bikes, but they're alright. They're better than the existing ones, which are garbage. Beck Storm says, my friends are always going on about Persona 4. Intended to get around to it one day, but now it's on Steam. I think I will. I think you should. Oh, hello, chat. Just did something. There it is. Right, I've just lost chat now. Where are we? Based Hamster. I was kind of hoping to get out of console gaming with the next generation. Now they've gone and announced that Demon's Souls remake. Yeah. Yeah. Ross Medlock says he makes all his curries from scratch, even the sauce. Excellent. Athol's got a PSP. He's still got his PSP and still uses it, but when the new excuse me, but he's going to get a PS5 when it comes out. When it arrives in Scotland, it's being launched holiday sometime, probably November, I reckon. They'll probably do a global launch, I would suspect. Talking about Demon's Souls, but I've got no idea. Gross Model says, I'm premiering the final video in the Lego car series, the lighting. As Ted isn't on till 9, it seemed like a good fit. Okay, right, cool, yes. That makes sense then. So yes, Chris is premiering the last video in his Lego car build. That's at 8 o'clock tonight. So as normal, just go to where you normally go to watch the Warhamster stream. And then when that's finished at 9 o'clock, that's when Ted's doing his Baneblade. Yay! Ted Blade. Look at that. Done. Got to hand it to this. It may smell like death incarnate, but I do like this extra fast setting Tamiya glue. I'll give it props where it's due. I can't use it for long, although I think I'm getting used to it now because it's not offending me as much. It's giving me flashbacks to painting cars, though. Give me flashbacks to the spray room at Penguin Speed Shop. Ooh. Let's make a coffee. No. Put them to one side. I'm going to put these to one side where they're not going to get knocked, because I'm going to rest them against my... You can't see, but I'm going to rest them against my drawers so the lids can stay not flopping down. I don't want them to flop down again. Right. Let's have a look. Last games console I played on was a Sega Genesis 16-bit. The last PC game I played was nearly 15 years ago, says Eric Graham. Then it's just the right time to get back into gaming now. Because of course you should. It's always the best time to get into gaming. Fox, never mind pencils, see spatulas. Spatulas! Speedy Create says Lays rifle. Pfft, that's like saying GIF instead of GIF. Exactly, it's a las rifle. I don't care whether the correct version is Lays rifle. In the same way that the correct version of GIF is GIF. GTFO, it's GIF. Lays rifle. George Gabriel's in. Welcome, George. Hey, George. Dad, Scaly Model says swearage. I don't know why. Don't forget, though, this is my show. It's nothing to do with e-models. This is my show. I don't care if you use big, rude words in chat. I couldn't care less. I'm not going to swear myself, because it is monetized. But I don't care if you use big, grown-up, rude swear words. I couldn't care less, to be perfectly frank. So, do whatever you like in chat. Of course, if you go too far, the mods will whoop your ass out of into space. So, be sensible. There are some words that are still not acceptable. Right, now we need to make the scatter field generator. Scatter field generator. Hang on a minute. Hang on a moment. Am I missing something here? Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I'll come to that in a minute. So we need to a scatter field generator, which is some bits. Then we'll crack on with the chat again. I said we'll look at the chat for 5 minutes and then I just carried on working, didn't I? Hello. I do like these Citadel cutters, but for some reason they always seem to not quite cut. Even though it feels like they've gone through, they somehow manage to not actually go through. Because there's still sort of weird. 6B. 6B, which is that one. Lots of plasma coils on this scatter field generator, which will be nice blue painting effects. There's no seam line down the middle of them, sadly, so I can't show you using this scribing tool. And we need 2 of these. These little doohicculons here. Yeah, these cutters, they feel like they've cut through the plastic. It goes clunk. It's actually not. Weird. They're kind of strange. Hello. Nearly went in my coffee. Don't go in my coffee. That would be awesome, but not awesome. It'd be really hilarious, but also I wouldn't have any coffee to drink then. So it'd be sadness. Yeah, watching Duncan build that train was quite good, that. It was quite fun. I like the way he did it. Using the flyer bases and the mini... Oh, there's an ammo box there. I didn't even see that. God damn it. Using the flyer bases and the mini bases to make the wheels, and then the rails. Quite fun. I think he said before in videos that when he was talking to Peach and stuff that he'd done that before and he'd made scenery pieces like that. So that's kind of cool. Quick look at chat. People got donuts, but I don't know why. Speedy Curate. Hey George, hope you and your guys are okay. Yes, hello George. Welcome, buddy. For those that don't know, by the way, the reason I'm doing this Warhammer Conquest is through to the very big kindness of George, my very good friend and patron, who is helping fund this whole thing, fund the subscription. So when this is all finished and everything's been painted, he's getting all the Space Marine stuff and I'm getting all the Death Guard stuff. It's going to be split 50-50 between us. Yay! Which means I can do a half-assed job on the Death Guard, but I've got to paint the Space Marines really, really well. Carolina Roberto is in. Welcome, Carolina. Hello, my friend. Chat just jumped. Minutes says to Beckstorm. Yep, that's what it stands for. Where I thought about GIF and GIF. Wait, what? The correct version of GIF isn't GIF. It stands for Graphics Interchange Format, wasn't it? Yes, but apparently this is about 10 years ago. This big kerfuffle started because it turned out the guy that created the GIF format decided, or actually said out loud with his mouth words, that it's supposed to be pronounced GIF, like giraffe, and it's like. But it's an acronym, it's Graphic Interchange Format, and graphic starts with a hard G sound. He's like, no, it's pronounced GIF. So now basically what happens is normal people say GIF, and Ponzi sort of Californian arty types that wear berets and work on Macs call it GIF, and then we just slap them. So, Model Making Guru does not endorse slapping of anybody, for any reason at all, ever. Yes, apparently it's GIF. Right, hang on, it's jumped. Where have we gone? Move now. Don't forget, guys, by the way, I've got the chat here. If you're new to this show, if you've never watched it before, if you are watching this and you can't see the chat, come and join in the live chat. It's all about the chat. If you want to get my attention in chat, I do have it here, but please, 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 if you need to ask me a question or get my attention, put the whole comment in capital letters, or bold as Ted calls them, so it has a chance of standing out in the chat, because to me it's just a big, you can see it's just a big pile of text that moves up. So put it in big fat capital letters. If you want to, you can use a super chat, which is the dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. That puts it in a coloured box and I can't miss it, and it puts an animation up here as well, and that also helps support this. A way you can help support this channel directly as well. But yes, do put your comment either in super chat or in just big fat capital letters if you want me to be able to see your comment. Right, I've lost where I was. We're talking about GIF. Eric Graham says, "Ooh, Dexterous Crafter has an unveiling video." Oh wait, not that type of unveiling. You pervert. You swore big rude words. Who swore? I didn't swear. We've already established that swearing doesn't demonetize you. No, I know, but hey. I'm not going to do it. Young people might watch. Who says GIF, says Beckstorm. Yes, Ponzi California arty types that have floppy hats. And, yeah. People that eat quinoa and have juicers and Ponzi, yeah, you know, influencer types. Mac users, things like that. Arty Mac users. Yeah, the inventor. Oh, it's jumped again. Stop jumping, text. Right, I'm going to give up with that text there. I don't know where I was. The inventor of the GIF says it's pronounced GIF. The inventor is halfwit. Raging Modeler says part 6B is next to part 47 and 26 on Sprue Z. Yes. Don't listen to Paul, says Chris. He doesn't know about graphics cards and stuff. Gerbils. Wait, that works. Okay, yes. What about gaffer cakes? Yeah, don't take the gaffer's cakes. Ray Aquilino is in from Malta. Hey, Ray, welcome, welcome. Do. Yes, you did. You're a naughty person. You sweared. I don't think ass is really swearing. I'm an arty Mac user, and I say GIF. Good girl, says that the Raging Modeler. You're obviously a heathen arty Mac user. Right, let's get on with some work, because I'm up to date now, and I've given up the will to live with that checks because it's jumping everywhere. Ugh. Yeah, so yeah, make sure you put your comment in big letters or big letters. Wow, fingers on lips. Warm in here. I'm really warm. Right, where are we? There we are. We'll get this quick ammo crate done because I didn't spot this on the sprue. Or just brew, as it probably should be pronounced. Yeah. What else has been going on? Not a lot else has been going on in the world of moi, I'm afraid. I do not lead an interesting life, not really. Well, hello, somebody's texting me. This will be Dad, no doubt. Oh, did I? I said bollocks, apparently. Oh, well. That's only a gentle swear. We don't mind saying bollocks. I won't say bollocks again, though, just in case. Because, you know, some people might not like the word bollocks. But most people don't mind. Americans don't know it's a swear word anyway, so that's all that matters. Bollocks. You could have just put that in chat, Dad. You know, you could have just actually typed that in chat. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. What else has been going on? Oh, hello. I don't know where that went. Oops, hello. That went there. What's been going on? Don't know, really. Not a lot. Watch with interest. I didn't watch the PS5 announcement trailer thing and the games demo, well, the games announcements and stuff. But I read up on it, read the basics, because I'm getting an Xbox, not a PlayStation, so I don't have that much of a vested interest in the details of it. But yeah, it looks some good games on there. Although I have to say, I think the actual console itself looks like absolute ass. I do not like that design. I have to agree with the billions of people that said it looks like the kind of router you got free from your ISP in the early 2000s, early 2010s. And it's like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I got something that looked like that as a router when I first joined my broadband provider. It's got that kind of cheap router look to it. I don't like it. It's too confusing and fussy. Keep it simple, stupid. It's a good piece of advice in life. But I'm sure the looks don't really matter, though, at the end of the day. I don't care what a console looks like. As long as it plays games, that's all I care about. Clean up, clean up, clean up. Get some good plasma coils on that. We'll have some fun with those. Plasma coils. What else has been going on? I think now. Not a lot, really. Oops. Scrapey, scrapey. What's been happening? What's been happening? Nothing. That's the problem at the moment, because the world's on fire and, you know, I can't go anywhere. Not really much to report back. It's like, you know, hey, I made some chips with my dinner last night. It's not really an exciting story, is it? What to report? How are you guys? What have you guys all been up to? If you haven't answered the bench and belly question already, then do answer the bench and belly question. What's on your bench? What you're working on? Doesn't have to be a model. It can be anything creative. You're building shelves. That still counts because you're building. What's on your bench and what's in your belly? What are you having for your dinner, or what have you had for your dinner? Depending on where you are in the world. I hope the chips were crinkle cut, says Team Annette. No, they're heathen. I don't know why, but crinkle cut chips just taste too fluffy. They're alright, but they just don't. They have this kind of fluffy taste in that. It doesn't sit well with me. Don't know why. They just don't taste right to me. Really stuck for things to talk about now. So for the love of baby Jeebus, give me things to talk about in chat. Let's do another AMA. When desperate, do an AMA. Ask me any question you want in chat. We've got 2 hours to fill. We've got 2 hours to fill. Ask me anything. Anything at all. No politics, no religion, but other than that, anything. For the love of dog, ask me questions. I need your questions now. Got a great game for you to play. It's called You Ask Me Questions, and I have things to talk about for 2 hours. That kind of went a bit Jerry Lewis at the end there. do. Yeah, there's not much to talk about when I'm just doing scenery pieces, really. It's not that exciting, so. Steak cut is best, then crinkle, says Chris at Grace Models. Steak cut is nice. Oh, as we like to call them, just big fat chip. Big fat chips are good. But I do like fries, because fries give you maximum mouthfeel, because you get to eat a lot of them without giving you maximum. I've eaten. Because the problem with big chips, big fat chips, is they're so big and fat that you get your meal and there's like 6 chips, and by the time you've had 3 mouthfuls, all your chips have gone. You're like, oh. Whereas if you get fries, you can get hundreds of them on your plate, and then you can be eating them all day long. With every mouthful of meat, you can have some chips or fries even. So yeah, I much prefer fries. Unless, you know, because if you were to give me the same amount of steak cut big fat chips as fries, I'd have like a plate the size of Germany. Oh God, hang on, I've got a squiggly nose again. Ugh. Hang on. The moment I stop the cameras and go away from this desk, my nose will stop being moist. Fox, have you ever been married, and if so, what happened to her? Well, we do have a patio. No, never. Never been married. No intention of. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, make sure to put your questions in big fat capital letters, please, so I have a chance of seeing them, or super chat them. But for the love of God, ask me things, because I need something to talk about. Nothing's happened. Everything's really boring in the world right now, in this house, because nothing happens. So just, for the love of dog, give me something to talk about. Scaly models. How many Falcons have you built? Oh, hang on, flashback. Reggie Modeler, are you afraid of the chili package you have? Not, well, I wasn't until around about now. Not until you just said that. I don't know what's in there. AMA, Miley or Billy Ray Cyrus? I have no idea who either of those are. I don't know what that means. To quote Bones, I don't know what that means. Is this a music thing? I have no interest in such nonsense. They sound very country western. But Fox, were they triple cooked chips? They were just French fries. What was the last movie you went to watch? I haven't been to the cinema in years. The last movie I went to watch, God, probably The Force Awakens, I think. And before that, probably like Jurassic Park, because I really haven't been to the cinema for a long time. I went to see The Force Awakens because, you know, we all did. It was like, yay, new Star Wars. Oh, it wasn't that great, but it was alright. So that was probably the last one. But before that, yeah, we're talking like Jurassic Park. So, yeah, that's how long ago it's been since I've been to a cinema. Because to me, it's like, why would I want to go to a cinema? Anyway, why would I want to do that? Because I have to spend £7 on a hot dog, which is just a bun and a sausage. It's not, there's no stuff on it. £7 for a hot dog, a £5 for a big Coke. I've got to get up halfway through the film and go for a wee, which means I miss 5 minutes of the movie. And also I have to be surrounded by mouth breathers and other people, which is never a good thing. So why would I want to actually go to a cinema when I can just watch it at home at my own leisure? And if I need to go for a great big wee, I can just press pause. Thank you very much. And I won't miss any of the film. And I can make as much noise as I want. And I can pause it. And I can eat all the food I want that just happens to cost me nothing because it's in the house anyway. And if I want to have a hot dog, I can have a hot dog with onions and sauce and mustard and other things and maybe chilli on it. And it's not going to cost me like £9.50. Yeah, I don't like cinemas. I don't understand the big thing for going to the cinema. I don't understand the attraction. Most of us now have a way to watch a movie in nice high def of some sort. Many people have 4K, a lot of us 1080p, but still, most of us, you know, a lot of people have surround sounds or some sort of surround system or nice little sound system. It's just, no. People say it's for the experience, you've got to get that cinema experience. What, of people who won't shut up and noise and stank and having to miss half of it because you go for a wee? Or sitting there watching the film in great discomfort because you don't want to get up and go for a wee because you don't want to miss anything, so therefore the entire film experience is ruined. There's no positive side to going to the cinema. I'm afraid to say this. Not for me. Oh no, I take it back. The last film I went to see was the Rogue One, actually. Because I reviewed that, didn't I? But yeah, there's no upside to going to a cinema to me. It just seems like a horrendously massive, inconvenient load of nonsense when I could just sit at home and watch it a couple of months later for a lot less money. Like, you can spend £45 to £50 sitting in great discomfort and irritation in an uncomfortable chair, or you can buy the movie on whatever for $5.99, watch it whatever you want in your comfy chair, butt naked, and with a frosty beverage, and you can go for a wee whenever you want. Also, you can watch it again and again and again and again. Hang on, that jumped. Not Xbox or PS related. That's great because we're not a gaming channel. Where did you? It's gone. Where did you get the hobby knife? I've been after one like that for ages. This was sent to me. It was a gift from Phil. Phil sent me this. It is a Swan Morton retractable. It's called a Retractatron or something. They're readily available. Just look up Swan Morton retractable blade or retractable handle, and you'll find it. It's great. It's metal. It's heavy, and it's like, yeah, Phil Lewis sent me that. It's rock hard heavy and it's really comfortable. How many Falcons have I done that one? He was gifted it. Homemade chips are the best. Yes. Forget chips or fries. I want the whole potato. Potato. Fox is allergic to cameras. How traumatized do you think Cy Reynolds is today? Says Paul at Team Inept. Yeah. Yeah, that's. I'm not going to discuss that in public, but yeah. That's something to be. Yeah. I'm not going to go about that. Talk about that. He's also allergic to wives. What, me or Cy Reynolds? Jedi or Sith? That's common junction. I don't know. That's a good question. Because Sith always gets defeated, but Jedi are kind of self-righteous and boring. I'd probably say Jedi, because other than Order 66, you know, they kind of don't get defeated all the time. If money was no object, what would be your dream kit to build? Says Ross Medlock. I don't know. See, I get asked that question all the time, but every time I don't really know, and then I think of something else the next time, and then I don't know. I don't know if I have. I've said things over the years, but I don't know if I have a dream kit, to be perfectly honest. Because the reality is, with a model kit, with any model you're making, even if it's a model you've spent years coveting and wanting, and then suddenly you get the model of your dreams, I guarantee that within an hour and a half of starting the build, I'll be bored. Because it doesn't matter what I'm working on, I get really easily bored. And I get distracted by the next shiny thing. You know, I got my Space Battleship Yamato kit, and I was like, oh, I need to get the thing whatever I was working on at the time, I wanted to get that done and dusted so I can move on to my next project, which would have been the Space Battleship Yamato. That's still in the box and hasn't been touched in 3 years. Because another shiny thing came along. There's always another shiny thing, so I don't know if I even have a dream kit, to be honest. I don't know. Strange answer, I know, but I know not. Model Making Trucker says, don't ever get married, look how I ended up. Model Making Trucker was never heard from again. Reggie Modeler, ask me anything. Will my Battlestar Galactica models ever arrive? Yes. No. Maybe. Here's hoping. How long is left for the quarantine of my parcel, says Cynical Steve. I will be filming it probably tomorrow, I think, or Tuesday. I might do another Falcon live stream over on the eModels channel tomorrow during the day. That's not in there, is it? I need a smaller one. So possibly not tomorrow. Well, maybe we'll see. I need a sandy sponge. I need half a sandy sponge. Half a sandy sponge. I know what I can do. I can sacrifice. I need a sacrificial sponge. Sacrificial sponge. Come to me. There we go. Never throw your old sponges away, folks. Always keep them because they come in handy. It's all sticky now. Oh, it's all sticky on the out. Oh, don't like that. Don't like that now. It's all sticky and clammy. Oh no. Oh. Oh, it's like it's like Grimsby Fish Yard on Hot Summer's Day. I don't like it. Oh. It's a bit sticky now. It'll do. Yeah, don't throw your old sanding sponges away. Keep them because you never know what you might find useful. Folks, have you ever finished them snacks sent to you at Christmas? I finish all snacks sent to me. I don't remember which ones they were, but yes. They don't last more than a day or two. Whatever was sent. I didn't eat the durian biscuit things though. They went to Mama Fox. And I forgot to ask if she's eaten. I think she ate them. She didn't mind durian. I will never put durian in my mouth ever again. I think Mama Fox ate them. Right, guys, I'm off to work on my Tonka kit. See you all tomorrow night, says Graham McRobert. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Take care, mate, and see you tomorrow night. You get a chance, come and watch, at the very least, come and watch Ted doing his Baneblade later on. Team Inept says to Mark Hancock, it's a Swan Morton. Yes, it's a Swan Morton. Just look up Swan Morton retractable handle. I think it's probably your best bet. It's awesome. Just takes right standard Swan Morton blades. Paul Titomasso is in. Morning, people. What's happening? Morning, Paul. Morning, my friend. How are you today? Hopefully you're good. Not at work on a Sunday, are you? I hope not. I can never remember. Morning, people. What's happening? He says, I am working on more scenery items. Well, not scenery items. They're objective markers. Objective markers. With many mould lines. Yes, remember, ask me your questions, folks, but make sure to put them in big fat capital letters so I have a chance of seeing them. They need to stand out amongst the crowd. Eon's car is in. Welcome, Eon. Dexterous Crafter says hi, Paul. Everybody. Paul Di Tommaso says hi, Nat and Dad. Everything hello to Paul. Eon's car says, Scaly Models Dad says, hi, Eon. Missed you there. And Eon's car says, hi, Dad. Been here for 30-ish minutes. Yo. Beckstorm says, yeah, I always need a big fat wee at the cinema because I go for slush puppies. Fine going with mates as part of a day out, but that's about it. This, if you didn't know what he was talking about, Paul Team Inept says, arse bags, primer and paint has rubbed off some of the edges of my gonk. If you didn't know what a gonk was, you'd be like very confused right now. And in fact, I have to correct you here, Paul. It's not actually a gonk, it's a gonk droid. Because to a Brit, a gonk is something completely different. Most of you won't realise this, but if you're around in the 70s, and maybe the 80s, there was a thing where you get like a little round ball of fluff with two googly eyes on it, and it'll have like a stream of material with it, like a round, imagine like a fluffy meatball, two googly eyes, and then a strip of like ribbon that came out from underneath it with a message on it, and it'd have two little feet of cardboard. They were called gonks, believe it or not. You don't really get them anymore. It's kind of a 1980s thing. They were a bit middle class and rubbish, basically, but hey. It was in the days before they gave you stress toys with corporate branding, kind of things. Fox, that was what I meant. Durans. What? Hey, I've lost. I don't know what you mean. We're also doing a live stream tomorrow at 3 PM on the Model Making Trucker channel. Yes. Oh, good to be reminded me, because then if I do an e-model stream tomorrow, I'll make sure it doesn't cross. I'll try and make sure it doesn't cross. Might do it on Tuesday then, maybe. Yes, Fox, I'm still at work. Dealing with pain and dealing with life as usual. Okay, Paul. I didn't know if I can't remember when your days off are, so take care, buddy. George Gabriel, AMA, what bust should I paint? I don't know what busts you have. Probably a good one, I would say. Is probably the best option. Where's there it is. I mean, I thought I've just been put on the side. on the side. What? I'm off Monday to Friday. Oh, okay. You work just the weekends. The seam line on this cogwheel is a pain in the butt. Severe butt pain. Because it's not wanting to give up its grip on reality. I can't get in there with my... Even my files aren't getting rid of it. Ugh. Butt pain. Be gone. Damn seam. Bring me your questions, folks. I really can't wait to watch Ted's Blade thing tonight. Yes. I'm also looking forward to watching Chris's lighting thing on his Lego, because he's got this third party. So give us more details, Chris, because I don't know the details, but you've got some like third aftermarket lighting set for it. And the instructions are basically just draw the flipping owl, if I remember rightly. It just shows a picture of it with all the lights installed. So there you go, that's what you need to do. Off you go, bye. I think. Have I got that right? I assume you had a bit of a challenge. Nicole. For all your models with deep pockets, there is a kit costing £1,765 and it's a 1/12 scale and it's a Hemmet. What's a Hemmet? What is this Hemmet? Also, that's nothing compared to a Forge World Titan. Yeah. What can they go up to, like 17, 18, 1900 quid, those things, Forge World Titans, I think. No, maybe about the same price. You were to get a big Forge World Titan, but... Yeah. And look at some of the... Don't forget, some of the 1/16 scale Tamiya tanks are like 16, 1500 quid. Yeah, they're certainly out there. Let it go, Fox, let it go, Eric Graham. What? I've lost track here. Why are you saying let it go? I don't understand. Chris at Gross Model says me. Me, you what? Oh, a Hemmet is an American transport truck. Oh, okay. What, army or civilian? I have no idea. I've never heard of a Hemmet. So, Fox, which force path would you go? Ashlar, Light, Bogan, Dark, or Bandu Balance? I like the fact that Australians will find the fact that the dark path is called Bogan very amusing, because a Bogan is like is the Australian version of what we would call a chav and what the Americans would call white trash. G'day, I'm a Bogan, yeah! Cheers, right, mate? I can't really do too much because I'd be swearing. Bloody Bogans! And Demon Ep says, gotta be a Bogan. There's a gun. The one redeeming thing about Borderlands, the pre-sequel, which was garbage, was it had a gun called the Boganella. And every time you reused it, or reloaded it, or used it, it would scream at you, but in the like strong Bogan accent and lots of swearing. Yes, Australians would like that Bogan. I don't know. When I play games, this is the thing. In reality, I'd probably go for Ashlar for light, because whenever I play games like, you know, the Fallouts and the Skyrim stuff, you have choices of playing as a good guy or a bad guy. I can't do the bad guy playthroughs. I can't play as a bad guy, even if there's no consequences and it just means being a bit snarky with people in conversations. I can't do it. I always have to play as a good guy. I don't know why. There's just something about me that I find it morally reprehensible to play as a bad guy. So yeah, I wouldn't be a Bogan. Oh no! G'day, Brew! No! I can't do a Bogan voice. We've got no Australians in chat. Come on, I know loads of you Australians out there. Tell me how bad my Bogan voice was. Paul's got to go and cook shortbread. Awesome. Make sure you send it all to me. All of it. All of it. I need to scientifically check it with my mouth holes. With my face mouth. Where's the centre of the shot? There it is. More questions. Ask me more questions. George says, I want shortbread. Yes, I want shortbread. Wait, hang on. What is he describing as shortbread? Are we talking like shortbread like you get from Scotland, like the shortbread biscuits? Or are you talking like shortbread that's like a kind of bread? Or what? What exactly do you mean by shortbread, Paul? He's gone now anyway, it's too late. We need to know what shortbread actually is in your definition of the word shortbread. I need to know, just for the purposes of things. Bogan! Oh no! If you are in the Model Maker's Boom Hut, let me put the thing in chat, see if my button works. Does my button work? Yes. If you are in the Model Maker's Boom Hut, which is my Facebook group, if you can see it in the chat here, there, it's just popped up. We're in the live chat on YouTube. If you are in at the Boom Hut, then our very good friend Cy Reynolds, also known as Kevin, our Lord and Saviour Kevin, is getting the new whatever it's called box set. I've forgotten already. I'm so out of the loop on the Warhammer stuff. He's getting the new whatever it's called, something, whatever thing, something. Anyway, he's getting that now. He's getting that that new box set, and he has no interest in the. Oh God, my words are all gone. What are the robot-y dudes called? Necrons. That's it. God damn it. He's got no interest in the Necrons. He just wanted the Indomitus. That's it. I think I've got this wrong. I may have it wrong. He's ordered the Indomitus set and he's got no interest in the Necrons. He just wants the Space Marines. So he looks like he's giving them away. He's not selling them. I think he's just literally giving them away. I don't know, but there's an announcement post in the Boom Hut. And what he's doing is, if you comment on the post, he will pick one person at random using an online random comment picker. And that person, I assume, will get all the Necrons. I don't know the specific details because I kind of speed read it this morning. So go and check it out. It's an announcement at the top of the Boom Hut. If you can't see it, if you're on a mobile device, click on the announcements tab. It'll be in there. Go and have a look. You can snag yourself some of the new Necron stuff. I put my own name down, but I don't think it'd be fair if I won, because then it'd be like, fix. So. Plus, he's just sent me all the Space Marines from the Prophecy of the Wolf set. So. Yeah, but I did pay for that. So, yeah, go and have a look. If you want to snag yourself some, I assume he's not selling. I assume he's giving them away. I'd only quickly read it. That's kind of awesome. Whether you want to then offer him money for them, I don't know. That's entirely up to you. Now, just obviously a quick word on that. Whether he's giving them away or selling them or whatever. Please keep in mind he is a moderator and an admin, and therefore he is allowed to do things like give things away and sell them in the Boom Hut. Just somebody did make a comment, and I'm like, yeah, we don't do buying and selling and swaps and trades in the Boom Hut at all. It's not permitted. However, the staff can. We can promote Patreon. We can sell things because we're the guys that make the Boom Hut exist. So yes. I don't want to see lots of posts suddenly coming up saying, I'm selling this and I'm giving this away. No, we don't allow that. I'm just getting in there before the inevitable comment comes in. Oh, we can't sell stuff, but you can. Yes, we can, because we own the site. It's our group. My group. House. So yes. But yes, you're giving them away. Go and check them out if you want to get some free Necron goodness. I can't say I've got that much interest in Necrons. They seem a bit... I mean, I might have one day, but right now I'm like... Not really my cup of tea. It's like painting skeletons. There's not really a lot to it, I think. Candy Bear from Mongo. What is the worst model ever? Well, that's a difficult one because it may be something we haven't all made. I know what my worst model I've ever made is or looked at, but it doesn't mean it will be yours. You may have seen something worse. So it's better to ask what is my worst model ever. What's the that would be, and I've said it before. It would be until it's replaced by something else. So far, it has been an Airfix 1/72 scale JU52 Junkers 52. I love that plane. I love the JU52. I will do one day. I built one before. Great looking plane, but I got the Airfix kit because it was literally. I was in Hobbycraft and it was literally a £5. It was on their rack of dirt cheap 50-year-old kits that we just sell for £5. I was like, I'll get it for £5, whatever, I'll grab it. And I opened the box up when I got home, and dear God. It took me a while to find the parts between the flash. I mean, to be perfectly honest, it's basically a box full of flash with a few with a bit of a kit in there. Do you want some parts with your flash? Most of it was flash. The canopy, I haven't got anything that I can show you. That the canopy looked like that. It was as transparent as that. It looked like it was. I was like, what? I think my super glue, is it? Oh, I think my super glue is going hard in the bottle. Oh, I have to get some more. Yeah, the canopy was literally frosted. It wasn't because it was like. It was partly because it was part of the frosting was big scratches all over it. And part of it was just it was frosted. It was like, what the hell? What kind of clear plastic is that? I know these are like 5,000-year-old molds, but dear Lord. So the canopy was completely unusable, had no details on it. Everything was as soft as butter in terms of detail. And it was like, I opened it and looked at it and I thought, yeah, there's no way I can rescue this. Now I see why it was a £5. Let's just put it back in the box. I put it back in the box. I thought I'll use it for greebles, and I've got some of the parts still for greebles. But other than that, it was like, yeah, there's no way you could redeem that kit at all. Now, you have to have a little bit of sympathy for Airfix in a way, because they found themselves in a bad place. Hornby and that lot, and Airfix. They found themselves in a bad place in that they had this company which were trying to resurrect or bring back to life, and a lot of the old tools, the old molds, had been destroyed. So they had nothing new real coming out, and all they had was a load of old molds that were like 40 or 50 years old and really beyond any use. But that's what they had, and they had to do something. They had to just re-release all these old kits, which by modern standards are absolute garbage. But hey, you can forgive them for a certain degree. They're just trying to make it, man. Jamie Bones says, yeah, the Airfix 172nd JU52, it's a pig of a kit. I got it as a birthday present and it went straight in the bin. Yeah. I did keep some of the bits for, greebles, but that's about it. Look. I've just set up my iPad 2 upstairs, and for some freaky reason it's getting the feeder for stream about 2 seconds or sooner than the big PC that's attached to the router by wire. Probably whatever version of... If you're using, say, for example, Chrome on both... Excuse me, sniffly nose. If you've got Chrome on both your iPad and your PC, you probably find that the Chrome on iPad's a lot more efficient because it's smaller. Less bulky software. Probably. George Gabriel, can I pimp my channel in the Boom Hut? Do you even need to ask that question, George? You need to pimp the crap out of everything in the Boom Hut. You know we encourage pimping in the Boom Hut. You know we encourage that because it's in the rules. Thou shalt pimp your shizzle all the damn time is the first rule of Boom Hut. The second rule of Boom Hut is that Fox gets all the leftovers. It's absolutely written in stone, that one. It's not negotiable. Yes, if you are in the Boom Hut, by the way, and you do have a YouTube channel or even just a blog, obviously to do with model making or creative stuff in some way. If it's a blog about football, we don't care. It's not relevant. But if it's a blog about model making or art or painting or something, then absolutely pimp your stuff. Please do. The entire reason I set up the Boom Hut was to encourage new talent, encourage people to get into the hobby, and give them a place where they can share their stuff and listen to people who, people who are more experienced, get advice from people who've been doing it for longer, and just share the knowledge. And part of that is pimping your shizzle. Absolutely, yes, pimp your stuff. Like I say, if it's nothing to do with model making or craft, if it's like a blog about football or politics or something, then yeah, we don't want to know. That's not what we're about. I have toyed with the idea of changing the name of the group to just the Makers Boom Hut. I don't know. Because it started off as just model making, but to be honest, we embrace kind of all arts and crafts, to be honest about it. No, I don't know, we might do. It doesn't have the same ring, the Makers Boom Hut, as the Model Makers Boom Hut. That rolls off the tongue more. Right, still some seam lines on that cogwheel, but I'm losing the will to live with it, I'll be perfectly honest. What if it's a blog about Liverpool? No. Ah, they no. And there's nothing wrong with that, like, but no. What did you... When Jamie was saying about he got the JU52 kit and threw it in the bin, he says, Dad says, what did you tell the person who bought you the kit when they asked how you were getting on with it? That is the downside of that. Somebody buys you a kit that's garbage. How you get on with it? It's in the stash at the minute. I've not got around to it yet. The one advantage of having a big stash, and everybody knows you've got a big stash, you can accidentally lose things in it. That in. Go. Click on 2. Osric says, I've got that JU52 in the stash. Actually looking forward to it. Yeah. Might want to take a look in the box first, and you might not be looking forward to it after that. Steve, you know, Cynical Steve would love it. Steve Mundy would love it. He could make it into all kinds of things. He'd just convert it into something else. To him, it's just raw materials. Yeah, no, it's not. Once you realise you can't use the canopy, you there's nowhere to go from that. Right, I've made a scatter field generator. Now I can scatter fields generatorly. Wow, am I a bit dark here on camera? I can't quite tell. There you go, scatter field generator, done and done. And I've made an ammo crate. It took me ages to make that. You saw me craft that by hand hewn. No, I didn't. Now we've got comms center. Comms center. Okay. A quick look at the chat though first. My worst. Oh, it jumped. My worst model ever was an Airfix 172nd scale handily paged bomber, says Athel Medical. I have memories of that. I have memories of the zigzaggy pattern down the side. Yeah, that wasn't a very great kit. Was that in black plastic? The JU52 came with this horrendous silver plastic. It was horrible. Model making mayhem, says Blem. Blem. Jamie apparently said, I've still got it in the stash until I finish his current build. That's a good answer. Yeah, it's in my stash. I'll get round to it. Eventually, whoever bought it for you will forget. What is happening at DC? You're awfully quiet. Who is at DC? Who's DC? You're at someone. You need to put their full name in to make the at work. Who's DC? I don't know who DC is. Right, we need to make a communication center, comm center. Let's make this now. There. Snippety snip. Super match game. Bomb. What else are we talking about? Ask me more questions. More questions. Put them in capitals though, folks, so I can see them. Ask me all things about everything. No politics, no religion, but anything else is fair game. I may not answer every question, but I might. You never know. Because for the love of dog, we need stuff to talk about. I've got an hour and a half to go. We've got to fill the air with something. I'm not going to sit here quietly making stuff and not talking to you guys like some YouTubers do. Sprue complete. You know what the rules are. Sprue complete. First thing you have to do is destroy everything. Yes. Destroy it all. Destruction. Destruction. Destroy. Yes, this is where you get your satisfaction. This is like ripping apart the box at the end of a build. Nothing is as satisfying. Well, there's a few things that are more satisfying, but obviously nothing to do with model making. Yes. Destruction of things. Yes. This is where you sometimes accidentally snip your fingers as well, which is a bit painful. Don't recommend doing that. It's quite painful. Today on Model Making Guru, we're going to make things into smaller, but we're going to take things apart. I'm a maker, but I'm going to be unmaking things today. Yes. Snippety snip. It's actually quite hard work sometimes. It wouldn't be quite such hard work if Games Workshop sprues weren't like, you know, made out of concrete or something. Also, it's easier to put this in the bin because the bits are smaller. There, oh, hello. Super match game. Boom. What's chat doing? I remember getting an AMT speeder bike. DC is not. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, if you need to get someone's attention, if you're doing the @ you have to put the full actual name. If you just put something else, it won't @ them, so they won't see your comment. Or if you just forget to do @ altogether. Yeah, there's no point doing the @ if you don't do the full actual screen name. I remember getting an AMT speeder bike, which was really nice, but I was younger and used enamel paints, which were ass. Yeah, and the thing is, if you got that AMT speeder bike kit nowadays, you'd probably hate it because it's not that great. It needs a lot of, well, it's all right. It just needs a lot of kind of fixing doing to it. I need to put these bits of sprue somewhere. I'm thinking in this bin bag here. There we go. Satisfaction guaranteed. Yes. AMA. Best and worst 90s TV show and why? Best Stargate SG-1. I agree. Oh, actually, Beckstorm says the same thing. SG-1, absolutely. SG-1. Oh, actually, I don't know. Oh, you see, cars. We've also got DS9 in there as well. Don't know. DS9 or SG-1. Can I have two? Because they're both awesome. Well, they're different things. DS9 for the drama and SG-1 for the awesomeness. Did both. It's my show. I can do both. Athol says, right, it's time to go feed my face. So I might be around come 9 o'clock. Cool beans. I'll say that again in English. Cool beans. See you later then. Have a good one. Enjoy your noms. Oh. Dad's saying to Jamie about his JU52, if you don't like it, don't throw it in the bin. Dad, trust me, you wouldn't like it. Even you will be like, no, dear Lord. Even Quano Man will be like, and he just wants them for bits. I mean, it makes Italeri kits look good, trust me. Gotta go now, food is ready, says Jamie. Thanks for coming in, buddy, take care. This looks like a phone mast. I should start talking about how it's 5G and then I'll get a lot of mouth-breathing, scientifically literate chud muppets coming in trying to set it on fire. Simpletons. Some people are so stupid. Can't really get the nippers in there. Do. I really can't get the nippers in there without using the tips. I don't really want to. I'm going to have to, aren't I? Yeah. Oh, that's 2 years ago. It's long gone now, says Jamie. Oh, right. No, yeah, unfortunately. He did actually throw it away because it is that bad. I want to get the Bandai Speeder bike with Biker Scout, says Paul Di Tommaso. Yeah, it's supposed to be a very good kit, that. I've not made it. But it's being Bandai, of course, it'll be fantastic. Yes. Yes. Ooh, a nub on a compound curve. Thanks, Games Workshop. And in a tight corner. Thanks. Just all the thanks in that on that one. There's no way I can... Oh. Okay, so I've gouged it. Never mind. It's weathering. Fox, if you laugh right now, it's totally going to sound like that Max Headroom at my house. What? I don't know what that means. More Draka says, and the worst. Oh, worst TV. 90s TV. See, the thing is, I kind of blanked the 90s out because the 90s were kind of rubbish. The 70s were awesome because I was a kid and everything was brilliant. The 80s were a living hell nightmare because I was a teenager. And it's that time of life when you develop an interest in girls, but also your body decides to make you the most hideous creation of all time, with the spots and the zits and the gangly teenagers. So yeah, the 80s were a living hell nightmare. And then the 90s were just like, ugh, I've got a job. And also, everything was, I don't know. I have very few memories of the 90s because they were just so bland and uneventful. Worst TV. I didn't really, because a lot of the stuff I watched that comes from the 90s, I would have watched, like, Star Trek and stuff was after the 90s, so I don't really know. I didn't really watch much TV. I would say anything on, well, here's the one way I can get out of it. From the 90s onward, anything shown on ITV in the UK, anything shown on ITV would have been the worst. Because pretty much ITV has been garbage since about 1990. So, there you go. There's my answer. It's a difficult one, that one. I have that speeder bike kit in my stash, Paul Tommaso. I'm leaving that one for my skill improves, as I think it will look best with some paint chipping, says Candygram. You can still make it. Don't forget it's a Bandai kit. You can still build it and then strip it down, paint it. Just remember to do the old Bandai trick of do a 45-degree cut at the tip of any attachment peg so you can get them all apart again. And you'll be good to go. Good to go. Yeah, the 90s were just like kind of not. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest, a lot of the 90s was spent in pubs. Yeah. Because the 90s was like, I've left school, I'm legally allowed to go to the pub, I now have an independent income from a job, whatever that job was at the time. A lot of the 90s was spent doing pub stuff because I could. And I grew up with two older brothers, you see, so I got to experience all that after them. So I was always like, I can't wait to be old enough to go to the pub with my mates. You know what? It's not that. It's fine. It's not anything exciting. Going to the pub. Go to the pub and have yeah. Oh, lovely. Let's get spanned. Sunday. Oh, yeah. Many lazy Sunday afternoons spent in the Bricklayers Arms in Altrincham. Back in them days, it was drinking. What would I be drinking? I would have been drinking Guinness or Boddingtons, and I would have been smoking Embassy #1s. Back in the days when you smoked in pubs, and it would have been getting there for 11 o'clock lunchtime and leave at closing time. You've been there all day, and then you occasionally break about 6 o'clock to go to McDonald's just down the road to get all the cheeseburgers in the world. And then go back to the pub. At different times. Different time. Couldn't go back now. Couldn't do that now. It wouldn't happen. I wasn't great of that Bandai trick of cutting pegs at 45 degrees. Yeah, quite simply, it is. Let me get a bit of that sprue back out. If you've got... I've got no big piece of sprue now. If you've got an attachment peg, let's say, pretend that's an attachment peg. That goes into a socket like that. Let's pretend that's... Well, let's do a clean one. That's an attachment peg there. All you do is you literally take off... it doesn't matter which way, but take off the very top, just 45 degrees like that. Where it's one that goes into a tube, into a female. It's the male peg into the female tube. The only reason the reason it works is it reduces the amount of surface area because the fit is really tight, so it reduces the surface area and gives you a bit more room to pull them apart again. It doesn't always work perfectly, but it works. It doesn't work where you've got a hollow tube and a hollow peg. Sometimes you get the peg is actually hollow. That doesn't actually work as well. Where it's a solid peg and a tube, it does kind of work. It's quite a handy little trick. AMA, where have my pants gone? It says Paul glued to the sprue. For some reason, he's now glued to the sprue. I don't know why. If you don't know Paul, then I'm not going to even begin to get involved in that one. There are some things a man should never know. And where another man's pants are is something I should never have to be thinking about. Fox, What old kit brands are okay? I want some car kits, and I've seen Italeri, Trumpeter, Eski, Monogram, and a bunch more. I guess Hasegawa, Fujimi, and Tamiya are safe. Yeah, Japanese stuff, probably fine. Absolutely Tamiya kits. Tamiya kits are fine from day one, basically. Any Tamiya kits, car kits. Anything American, pretty much. Eski, Monogram. Car kits, you probably... It's a difficult one. Things like Revell, well, maybe not Revell, but like AMT, Ertl, and Monogram and stuff. It's a lot of their kits were, by today's standards, kind of garbage. But sometimes the cars, although they were really basic, you'd laugh at them now, but they're kind of, some of them are alright. I mean, I'm not a big expert on car kits, so. But yeah, but you can get them cheap, and they're kind of alright. So I would say, yeah, things like maybe Monogram. Let's have a look. Italeri have always been crap. Let's just be honest. Italeri kits are generally not very good. They're not as bad as Revell sometimes, but Italeri kits, no. Trumpeter have always kind of been good. I didn't know Trumpeter had been around that long, but Trumpeter have always been. You can't really go wrong with Trumpeter. Eski and Monogram. Eski, your mileage will vary. Monogram. Some of the cold car kits, they'll be all right. They'll be basic compared to today. Set your expectations. But if they're old, they're cheap. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, most of them will be fine. Most of them will be fine. I say Italeri used to be good. Bear in mind that transit van I built, the knackered old tranny kit, that's like a 1980s kit that's been re-released. It's not a modern Italeri kit. So it's all right, but it's a bit basic. You'll probably be fine. I mean, at the end of the day, if they're old kits by those brands, they're not going to cost much anyway. So I just say go for it. If you're spending £30, £40 on a kit, you want it to be good. If you're spending like 10 or 15 bucks, yeah, just go for it. Have it large. I've forgotten which bits I've cleaned up now. Team Inept, avoid Italeri, Trumpy are okay, Hasegawa, Fujimi, and Tamiya and Oshima are good. Yeah, you're not really going to go wrong with Japanese manufacturers. Some of Bandai's early stuff was quite garbagey. I mean, let's be honest. But Tamiya has always been good. That's why we always say when people are getting into like building tanks, and I was like, what's a great tank kit to start out on? Because you look at tank kits now, and they've got all the photo etch and their mixed media, and they've got all this and that, and individual track mix and stuff. And they're like, what do I want to start on? Because I've not done one before, and I don't want to get one with like 1 billion parts. And we'll always say Tamiya. Tamiya is the one you want to start on, just to get a feel for building armor. Because they're like 20 quid. They're 45, 50 years old, but they're still better than a lot of modern manufacturers. That's the thing. Tamiya stuff, a lot of the kits, even their old kits from like 1970s, some of them are actually better than modern kits. It's kind of embarrassing, really, for those kit manufacturers, but hey. Thanks. I have a really strong itch to build a Lancia Stratos. Ooh, an F40, maybe a Porsche 935. Is that the Lancia Delta Stratos, the concept car? I love that. I always wanted one. And when I was a little kid, I didn't know what concept car was. It was like, I want a Lancia Delta Stratos. Thank you very much. Back in the days when concept cars looked like what you want them to make, and then you always got sad when they didn't. Nowadays, of course, concept cars, you know, they're not good. Nowadays, even concept cars look kind of boring. It was always, here's a concept car, it's the most awesome thing ever, but the actual finished thing will just be a boring saloon like every other car. Boring. Here's an amazing concept. What will it become? The Mondeo. Oh. So, but nowadays, it's like, here's a concept car. Snooze. What will it end up like? It's a Mondeo. Oh. Yeah, cars are boring. Nowadays, it's normal cars. Boring. When they stopped getting rid of Coke bottle curves. LD's in. Welcome, LD. Been a horrible weekend. I had to have. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I had to have Sammy's dog put to sleep. Oh, house feels like something's missing. My commiserations, dude. Big hugs. Not good when you have to have a pet put down or you lose a pet. It's like a family member, isn't it? So sorry to hear that, my friend. you going to get another dog? Not right away, obviously, because that would be a bit insensitive, but are you going to get yourself another dog? Beck Storm says, no, the actual Stratos. The concept was cool, though. Yeah. I think Tamiya did a Lancia Stratos. I'll tell you what, I can tell you from experience some good Tamiya car kits, because I did it when I was a kid. The Audi Quattro was a really nice kit. Again, it's simple by today's standards, but they always looked great. And it's an Audi Quattro, what's not to like? I also built I think it was the Tamiya Renault 5 Sport. Can't go wrong with a Renault 5. I think they were 1/24th. Yeah, a lot of them, they're kind of, they'll be fine. That's that bit almost clean. R.I.P. Sammy. Sorry, man. It's a space hamster. Yeah, Jens Carr says losing a pet's like losing a family member. Yeah, big hugs from all of us, dude. Big hugs. Am I even on camera? No, I'm down here. I'm not even on camera, am I? Ugh, you spoon fox. Spoon fox! More questions, people. More questions. Oh, I haven't done my bench and belly. Bench, you know what I'm working on. Belly tonight is Chinese. Woohoo! It's udon. It's beef udon again tonight. So it's the Mega Beef Bowl Challenge, Rainy Day Challenge. Tonight for me. It's not really a challenge because I get to eat it all. So of course it will be in descending in no particular order. Vegetable spring rolls, wonton soup, a portion of shumai to go into the wonton soup. The spring rolls are to dip in the wonton soup. Then once that's been ingestulated, it'll be the beef udon. Yeah, big fatness of noodles. That's my belly tonight. See, I hate cooking, but I like to, pressing some buttons and suddenly food turns up half an hour later. It's much better than cooking. Why would you do cooking when you can just press some buttons and a little man turns up with food? Why is that a bad thing? Well, it does seem to me to be the absolute best option. Right, that's that bit. Doodle-doo. Doodle-doo-doo. Ring fingers, my little pinky rings coming off. Anyway. Yes, it does amuse me, all these chud muppets setting fire to 5G masts because they think somehow 5G can transmit a virus. It's like, you have no idea how science works, do you? Or the universe, or you really are that stupid. Or people that just think 5G will be dangerous just by itself, and it's like, you do know that it's actually less energetic than just sunlight. Simpletons. The world is doomed when the scientifically illiterate take over. That's when we know we're really screwed. Up until that point, we're fine. Yeah. Human Up says, given I've just made Black Forest shortbread and have chocolate orange shortbread in the oven, I can confirm cooking is great. Yeah, but imagine if I could just pick up a phone and have all that turn up. Or fill out a thing online and that just turns up. Even better. But when you say shortbread, what do you mean by shortbread? Because to me, shortbread is the stuff you get in tins with Scotland paintings of Scotland all over it, and it's the big, crispy, chunky biscuits. Is that's short? Is that what you mean? What do you mean by shortbread? Explain it to me. I don't understand. I need you to explain in lots of detail. LD says got a Westie statue from the garden centre and using green stuff to make the eyes bigger and tidy up a bit and then going to paint it. Oh, that's good. I like that. That's nice. AMA, will you be doing a live group build again? Me personally, you mean like for the Boom Hut? No, because it's a lot of effort, to be perfectly honest. I know the last one I kind of left Simon to do it, but the one before that, the Egg Mopal Macron thing, it ended up being a lot of hard work for very little outcome, really. It became a bit of a nightmare to run and administer. It was a lot of effort. I know people had fun, but and some people took it way too seriously and got the hump. Some people had a great time, and yeah, probably not. George did the Cesabi. George and Simon, well, Simon and George did the Cesabi group build. But ultimately, you put in all that effort, and at the end of it, only a handful of people really get involved anyway and take part. And then there's always the point at which somebody argues about something or feels put out because of something, and yeah, so probably not. More hassle than it's worth is what I'm trying to say. Model Making Mayhem, I'm here, folks, just doing house things at Short Straw again. I checked the box, it seems to be full of short straws. Cooking is indeed fun. Getting a new oven tomorrow. Of 12 years, kept flipping the mains off. By shortbread, I mean Welsh shortbread, but that's what I mean. Do you mean like you get in the Scottish biscuits? Because how do you make a Black Forest shortbread or chocolate orange? Is it just, I don't understand. Is it that hard, crunchy stuff that looks like old world navy tack but tastes really nice because it's butter, or is that not the same thing? I don't understand. You better just send me a whole mess of it just so I can test it scientifically to understand properly. Is what I'm saying. Andy Graham for Mongo. I cook all of my food, but I can't remember the last time I had any type of food from a restaurant. I miss it, but I have to really watch what I eat now. Yeah, that's true. There could be, reasons why you can't eat food prepared by others. Perfectly legitimate. Fox, will there be another... nearly said it out loud there. Will there be another pants kit build this year, Paul? I'd refer you to my previous question, which was I kind of don't have time to run one. It's a lot more work than you think. Not that I can't be bothered, it's just it ends up taking up too much of my time. And politics always come into it, and fighting comes into it, and people get narked about this, that, and the other, and you know what? Nah, not worth the hassle. Once the shortbread is cooled, I'll top it with icing for maximum sexy time. I need to send some to me. Or you just need to come here and make some. But if you can do it outdoors while we keep the porch closed, because, quarantine and all that. Baseling, I'm a cooking genius. I've also done Bakewell shortbread. Well, Bakewell is arse. I don't like Bakewell. Bakewell's horrible. That's like telling me you've done durian shortbread. I'm not going to be impressed by that. If you ate it, I'd be impressed by it, but not me. I don't know if you've made it. More questions, folks. 3 questions at me. We've got about an hour to fill, so. How's your broadband, Dad? Is it looking like you're going to do a show? Let us know. Are you doing a show? Let us know. I'm a poet and I know it. Otacon. Went all Metal Gear then. Broadband. Got it. But is it CQC compliant? I can't do the old Snake voice today, man. When I did the video of the Drebin Striker build, I was doing that silly Metal Gear Solid 4 Old Snake kind of voice impression. It wasn't the best, but I could kind of do it because I was smoking at the time, so I had a more throaty voice. Now I'm not smoking, I can't do it anymore. It's not something I can do anymore. What a con. Not easily, anyway. Somebody outside just dropped something. I heard a rattle and a clank. Tinternet isn't back on. Just going to rest router to see there. Reset router. Have you called or contacted your broadband company to make sure it's not just you? Is your phone line working? Do you get a dial tone? Is it noisy? Dad playing Skyrim lol, says Paul Di Tommaso. Wait, what? Why? Space Hamster, if you had a perfect grade Fennex, what would you do with it? Because I'm trying to motivate myself to finally build mine, but it's like not really a paintable kit. I wouldn't have one, to be perfectly honest. Because it is a beautiful model, but there's no way to paint it. And there's no way to cover up all the nub marks that you're going to get when you take them off the sprue. Because in a moment of genius, if you don't know what the Master Grade Fennex is, it's the Unicorn Gundam Fennex. But it's just the basically regular perfect grade Unicorn in gold plate. In gold Mackie plate. But that sounds great until you realise the kit isn't actually undergated. Very little of it is. So every time you take a part off the sprue, you can see the white plastic underneath, and there's no way to cover it up because you can't get a finish like the Mechie plating. I would say put it back in the box and maybe sell it, or treasure it one day when it's worth a lot more and then sell it. The moment you start building it, you've ruined the finish, I reckon. Or you know, if you're made of money, you could always get all the parts off the sprues, cleaned up, and then get it stripped and professionally plated properly with sparkly gold colours. Get it properly actually plated somewhere, but that's going to cost you an arm and a leg. So yeah, not with real gold, obviously. Right, let's get these bits of dust. Anybody? No. Dust. Yeah, I when I first saw the Fennex, I'm like, oh, I could have a bit. That might actually motivate me to make a perfect grade Unicorn. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. No, hang on. Oh, sadness. But there's no way you can get that gold finish without literally getting it properly professionally plated with something. I know a place that does it, but they do it for cars and things. Wouldn't be cheap. You'd have to get all the parts, and yeah, it wouldn't be cheap. Dad pushing buttons on big internet things, that's scary. Beckstorm says, I just cut it out with God hands and cover the nubs with some Molotov chrome and some clear paint to match the chrome. You're not, though. It's not going to look anywhere near. It would. It's one of those things where whatever you try and touch up the nubs with, it's going to look nowhere near as good as the actual Mechie plating. And therefore, it's kind of worse than just having a white nub. Don't know. I'd be tempted just not to make it. I enjoyed watching Dad play Skyrim. I've never played it before either, and it looks terrific. Yes. I didn't know the perfect grade was undergated. Little bits of it are, but not a lot. It's not. It's not undergated for all intents and purposes. What about the real grade Fennex? Cost a kidney though, says Jerry. Hey Jerry. Jerry. The real grade one has better nub mark placings. Yeah, small though, isn't it? Space Hamster said, I painted over the nubs on the Master Grade with Tamiya Gold. Honestly, you barely see it because the reflectiveness of the plating is so overpowering. I mean, you'll cover it up, but it's never going to look as good. Your mileage may vary. things when it's a kit that's that expensive. Yeah. Right, let's build this 5G tower before all the mouth-breathing chud muppets turn up and try to set fire to it. Because they're stupid. Right, so we've got that there. Oh, look at that. They got big mould line right down the middle, seam line right down the middle of that grill. Oh. Well, there's not much I can do about that to fill that without ruining it, so it's just going to have to stay there. And have some sort of... It's going to look like a grill with a line down the middle. Not really much you can do with that, I'm afraid. Get these two together. There we go, a little bit of the glues. Yeah, there's no point even trying to fill that, because you just come out looking garbage. There's some times when there's no point trying to hide a panel gap at all, because you just can't. Not without some major rebuilding and sculpting to recreate that sort of grill effect. And it's a scenery piece. It's an objective marker. It's not like not the kind of thing you spend a week making and touching up. So yeah, we'll live with it. We'll build it into it. Maybe it's supposed to do that. Be there. Best Gundam kits have undergating, but undergated sprues are few and far between on Gunpla. Mayhem says, I have to do the house things if I want to have my work area for the filmings and stuff. Oh well, that's worth it then. I want the 1/100 scale Sazabi, but I don't like the shape of the Vercar. I love the proportions of the real grade Sazabi so much more. Yeah, that Master Grade Sazabi, it's a beautiful kit, but if you don't like the particular shapes, it's a lot of kit not to really want to build when you just spent all the money on it. Yeah. Right, so these are little bits that just go on there. Loosey-goosey. So I think what we'll do is we'll have a flat surface ready and waiting. A little touch of the glue. Whoop. Work quickly now. Get that in. I should use quick setting glue really. That would have been perhaps more efficacious. Is that? That's right, yes. I love this kind of pointless, over-engineered gothic look of all the Games Workshop, of all the Warhammer stuff. It's so awesome. Roger, gluing now. And of course, just to gross out the horror of the 40k universe again, this is a communications tower and there's a human skull in it. There's obviously some sort of servitor component. So again, somebody's had their entire body removed and converted into a comms tower. I mean, wow. Just so grimdark. There's another one there. His entire job is to be the comms tower computer. The problem with the Master Grade Sazabi Vercar is that it can barely hold its rifle. You only get one position. Yes, I had to solve that problem by building it so it was holding the rifle, which was resting on the ground. The rifle stood up with the butt of the rifle on the ground, and the muzzle of the rifle in his hand. And I also built mine with all the joints glued and set. The one I did for George, but it's basically in a fixed pose. See, that's not flat. You see. It's something flat. Let's give me a flat surface. Let's have this. Let's have ya. Okay. Get this nice and flatted. I'm just using this so I can make sure all the legs are the right length and in the right position and at the right height. So it doesn't wibble wobble. It probably still wibble wobble. Fairly stable, I think. Yeah, so basically, the same as I did with my Sinanju Stein, that also doesn't hold the weapon very well. So I just make it like he's standing to attention, but with it, he's holding the muzzle of the rifle and the butt of the rifle's on the floor. Or you can have it so he's holding the weapon in both hands with his left hand on the hand grip at the muzzle end, I don't know what you call it, and the other hand on the trigger. That's the other way. I think trying to have a weapon, and on most Gunpla, having the weapon in one hand is never a practical solution. There's a lot of them, they just don't have the joint. You get brewer's droop eventually of the joint area. But then again, mine's in a little diorama, so I have that advantage. And it's done in a diorama, so it's popped up. So there you go. It's a beautiful kit though. And oddly, this is the thing with it. Even though it took me like 1 billion years to make it, this is the weird thing. It was no more complicated than, say, the Sinanju Stein or anything like that. Not at all. Whereas, of course, the paint job took a lot longer. Ooh, that didn't stick. Put that on first, I think. Yeah, the paint job itself was no more the building was no more complex than, say, the Stein or anything else. Absolutely fine. That went in a minute ago. No, it's not going in. There we don't. Cool. In you go. Well, this clearly wants to go in the right direction. But that's the way with most Gunpla. You look at it and you think, oh, it's a really complicated kit. It's going to take forever to build that. When you actually get down to it, and you realise they're all, of course, sharing the same... That's not even straight. They're all sharing the same basic construction and shape and size. Oops. Wow, that's not straight in any way, shape or form. Ah! Hello. Hello. I think I may need to adjust this antenna piece. Get some fast setting glue on that. On that. You go there. Yeah, lid properly on that glue because it stinks. This might need to be filed down a bit because it's not wanting to fit quite as easily as I thought. Come on. I was trying to get hold of it without touching. There we go. Now it's in. Now it cooperates. Be generous with the glue. Splash it on. Flood the cowling. Plenty of it. That's that done. We have our 5G tower. Here comes, I'll make a load of poxwalkers to be all the mouth breathing chuds that are going to try and burn it down because they're scientifically stupid. Right, there we go. The tower done. And that actually concludes that set, except we've got all these things, which I assume are just random scenery pieces that you don't need to actually assemble. Yeah, you just have these sitting around, so we'll get them off the sprue and clean them up. Right, food is on the way. I'll catch you later, says Chris at Gross Models. My premiere is at 8, Ted at 9, hopefully Dad at 6:15. Yep, Chris will be on at 8, his premiere. So go to Chris's channel, Gross Models, for the premiere of the final episode of his Lego build. Ted, of course, is doing his Baneblade live stream at 9. Hopefully he runs for like 6 hours. And Dad might be doing a stream at 6:15. Right, let's have a quick look with the chat. I would recommend that Master Grade Cesabe though. I would say I would recommend strongly, if you're going to paint it, I would recommend build it in a fixed pose, because then you've got a lot more freedom. It makes I say it's no more complex than any of the Master Grade. It's just the painting was complicated because there's so many parts. But when you get to most Master Grades, you think, oh God, look at all them sprues. But when you break them down, they're always the same kind of thing. It's the same basic arm design, the same basic leg design. You've got 2 legs, 2 arms, torso, head, backpack. That's it. And weapons as well. It's always the same process, and they're never really that different. It's really, you're kind of making the same thing. So if you can build a Master Grade, Cesabe. If you can make an Master Grade Strike Gundam, you can make a Cesabe. If you can make the Sinanju Stein, you can make a Cesabe. You can make an RX 7082. They're all the same. They're all the same. It's a really nice kit, though. It's really, really nice. I would be tempted to build another one just for myself, except I wouldn't want to go through the painting process again, because that did take forever. Although I probably wouldn't do the same. That was probably more because the paint scheme was really complicated. If I did one again, Gutham's not in shot. Where's Gutham? If I did one again, I probably wouldn't do it with the Borderlands paint scheme again. It'd take forever. I fancy doing a real grade, but I can't pick out a kit. All the real grades are epic, says Mayhem. Just go for whichever one you think looks cool. Best thing. Jerry says, I've got a question about airbrushing since I just got mine and I'm new to it. I usually paint with acrylic paints and I want to gloss coat it. Can I use Mr. Colour GX100 Super Clear? I don't know what that is. I've never actually used Mr. Colour paints apart from the Mr. Metal Colour. However, if it is a lacquer and you spray it onto acrylic paints, you risk it eating the acrylic paints alive. If you want to get a gloss coat over acrylics, people in chat will give you some. People in chat give this guy other suggestions. I know of. I'm not going to say my pledge because that's not really a finishing gloss coat. That's a utility coat. I don't often have to use a gloss coat, so I don't really use them. But Alclad Aqua Gloss is a acrylic gloss coat and it's very good. I'm trying to think of some other suggestions from chat would be helpful of acrylic gloss coats, because I don't gloss coat things when I finish them. I put gloss coats on for weathering, but I use Pledge 4K finish for that, and that's just for, it's not really something you want to have as a final gloss coat on a model. Some people use the Tamiya Clear rattle cans, but again, I'm not specific which one because I don't make shiny models. I'm no use advising on gloss coats really. So people in chat, give Jerry some ideas about gloss coats. If you're painting with acrylics, you don't want to put a lacquer on top ever. I don't know if that GX100 is. If it's a lacquer though, it's a really bad idea. It might be absolutely fine, but lacquers are chemically hot. They react with things, and lacquers will often. You can spray anything on top of a lacquer. But if you put a lacquer on top of anything that's not lacquer, you may end up with serious trouble times, so I wouldn't recommend it. So people in chat, let Jerry know, because I don't really know. So as Ted would say, you slap the glue on. Yeah, slap it on. Hang on.
Slap it on.
I keep forgetting I've got a Ted button. Right, there's my 5G tower. Look, it's spewing out all that cancer. Look, saying it's not really. Seriously. I like to think my viewers are intelligent enough to know that's just absolutely not. And if you don't, just go and read up on it. It's absolute nonsense. Right, I've got no access to Tester or Pledge, says Jerry. Yeah, Testers is American. You can't really get it outside of America in many places. Pledge, it's fine as a gloss coat if you're putting decals on or you need a gloss coat for some weathering. Or maybe you're making a little tabletop miniature and you want to make a bit shiny and you just want to do it quickly. It's not bad, it's just more of a utility coat. It's not really, if you're making a shiny race car, you wouldn't use it as a proper final gloss coat because it's not that shiny and it's not that durable. So I'd never use it to make, I would never say I'm going to paint this thing shiny and I'm going to use this as a gloss coat. I wouldn't use it for that. Yes, it's lacquer, says Jerry. In that case, yeah, you might be alright spraying it on top of acrylics. You probably might find it starts to eat the paint alive. So, yeah. Like if a lacquer goes on fairly dry, like if you're spraying it on and it's like almost like a dry powdery mist, it might be alright. But if it goes on a little bit wet, it can react with the paints, it can react to your paints and make them come back to life and it ruins them. So never put lacquers on top of anything other than lacquers. Oh, Jerry says, no, it's a gloss before decals and paddle lines and weather. Oh, okay, in that case, yes. If you can find the Pledge. I don't know where you are. In that case, you've got. It doesn't really matter what gloss you use. You could use Pledge. You can use. I quite like the Vallejo premium airbrush varnishes, the gloss matte and satin. You can use. I don't recommend the Humbrol Rattle Can gloss because it's kind of garbage. The matte's fine. There's the Ammo by Mig gloss varnishes. They're not that shiny, but they might work as a gloss. If you're in the UK, US, or Canada, I do have an Amazon store with some varnishes in there. Have a look in the description below the video. There's 3 links in there. But again, I use the Pledge, so I do have Pledge in those stores, but by now it's probably like £1 billion. But if you're in the US or the UK, or probably in Europe, you probably can find the Pledge. It'd be now called Pledge Revive It. My listings are probably out of date already. That might work. But yeah, I do like the Vallejo, the Vallejo matte and satin varnishes, the premium colour varnishes. And maybe the gloss one might be quite good. In that case, yes, you don't need to worry about having a nice expensive gloss varnish for a finish, because if it's just for decals and stuff, that's fine. That's why I use the Pledge, you see, because it's cheap and cheerful, and I'm not using an expensive proper modelling gloss varnish. I could use something like Alclad Aqua Gloss, but that's like £1,000 for a bottle, and yeah. It's not really £1,000, but you know what I mean. Just for something that's going to get covered up with a matte varnish once it's, yeah. Where are we anyway? Beck Storm says 2 times more shine. David Butch, that model is in. He says, shush, don't tell Paul, but I snuck in the back door on the Reich account. Oh, I just told him. He's got access to a Vallejo. Might try that then, says Jerry. Yeah, go for the Vallejo Premium Colour gloss varnishes. They're literally called Vallejo Premium Colour. Premium Colour. 6206, I think it's 6206, 1, 2 and 3. Matte, gloss and satin. Have I got the gloss here? I think I've got a satin. Oh no. There we go. 063 is the satin, 062 is the matte, so I'm going to guess the gloss is 061 or 064. So 62061 or 62064. They are in my Amazon store, so if you're in the UK, US or Canada, you're Canadian, then they're in there. You can just quickly go in and bob them from there. They'll be down at the bottom in the, I think they're in the airbrush and varnishes section, somewhere like that. Paints and varnishes, I think it's called. I can't remember what I called it now. You'll find it. It's there somewhere. I've heard good things about the Alclad one Fox mentioned, Aqua Gloss. Yeah, Aqua Gloss is a real nice... I've never used it. But from what I've heard, everybody I know who's used it, it is a very good, nice durable gloss varnish. Often used for when a gloss coat is needed for weathering and stuff, and often needed as a final gloss coat. There we go. Like I say, as a modeler, as a maker of weathered, grubby models, I have no cause to make shiny models, so I only ever need a utility gloss coat. And as I've got like 1 billion gallons of various forms of pledge, I may as well use that. Because you know what? It gets covered up with a matte varnish at the end anyway. Ping. People say to me, oh my god, you know it's not UV resistant, you know it goes yellow. And I'm like, well, first of all, any model I've ever used that pledge on has never gone yellow. And second of all, when I do actually finish the model, because it's a utility coat, it gets covered with a matte varnish, which is UV resistant, the Humbrol 49. So even if the pledge is not UV resistant, it's being covered in a varnish that is. So yeah, it's going to be UV resistant, so don't worry about it. But no, I've never experienced yellowing on a model. So another sprue is complete. Time to destroy. Butch that model. I needed to varnish a resin baby dragon in its egg. I converted it to a keyring for She Who Farts in Bed, but it had to be tough. It was painted with acrylics and varnished with yacht varnish. It was okay. Hard as rock. I don't know what yacht varnish is. I mean, I know it's varnish for boats, but I don't know what kind of varnish that is. That's the thing with lacquers. You might be absolutely fine, but it also might be an absolute disaster. There's a well-known story, or at least well-known for in the old days, of a chap who built a full-size replica of the original series Enterprise, Star Trek Enterprise. You know, the original series Enterprise, not the series called Enterprise. And I think he was making it for a museum, I think. And he basically scratch built this thing. It was beautiful. It was like, you know, whatever it was, 12 feet long, like the studio model. And he researched all the colours and painted it carefully and got all the colours right and all this kind of lit it up. And it was like for a museum exhibit. And then what happened was he made it and gave it to a museum. And about 1.5 years later, the museum got back to him and said, dude, this Enterprise looks like garbage. It's all kind of like rainbow coloured. And he's like, what? And when he saw it, it was like a rat rod. There was all different colours of paint bleeding through in different places, like pools and splotches, and it was like it was rotting or something. And what had happened was, he'd basically painted it in various different colours. He'd layered up the colours, like, so he'd done some like greens and blues and stuff to give the depth, and then he built the colour grey over the top so you could get the transparency of the paint. You could see colours through it, but without making it obviously coloured. We'd used all different paints, but he'd mixed lacquers and acrylics. So some of the layers were lacquer, some were acrylic, some were enamel. And for such a skilled model maker, it's amazing that he did this. But he had all these different types of paint. And what happened was, over time, in some places, he had think he had acrylic paints on top of lacquers. Now the thing with lacquers is, although they may dry rock hard and they feel solid, they're still chemically curing for quite a long time. They can be. So he's put this lacquer paint on, and then within a day or two, put acrylics over the top. Now over the time, it looks fine at first, but over time, the lacquers are still, gassing off and reacting. They're chemically hot. They're reacting with the paint above it and reactivating it, basically. And in some places, they're gassing off, and you're getting little bubbles that push through the paint. And in some places, you get fish eyes, or little dimples or pimples. Fish eyes are where the paint collapses in, or the other one is where nibs is where it pops up. And in some places, the paint just collapsed. Like you've got, like, say, a grey acrylic paint with a red lacquer underneath. Eventually, that acrylic paint just melts with the lacquer because he did it too fast and he mixed them all together. So the golden, and this thing, you had to take it back. And this was like a very expensive museum piece, and ruined it. So the moral of the story is, never mix your paint types unless you know what you're doing. Just because it's not worth the risk. So if you paint, you can paint anything you want on top of a lacquer, as long as you know for sure that lacquer is fully cured and not still reacting or gassing off. And some lacquer paints will dry quickly. Some lacquer paints will take days to dry. So it depends. I mean, most of them dry very quickly, but some of them are still chemically doing things. You won't know. Unless you're a paint scientist, you won't know. So, yes. Never mix. You put anything you want on top of a lacquer, as long as it's... But with modelling lacquers, they usually dry within 24 hours, so you're fairly safe. But you can paint anything you want on top of a lacquer. So if you've got a model and you apply a lacquer primer, you can, next day you can put whatever you want on top of that. But if you paint it with an acrylic primer, and then you want to paint lots of lacquers on top of that, you might be alright. You might not. Actually, with the primer, you probably will be alright. With paint, so if you paint it, yeah. You get what I mean. I'll shut up now. Flogging a dead horse. Where are we? But yeah, anybody else with any suggestions of gloss varnishes for Jerry, do put it in chat. Paul says, hello Dave, kissy love you. Studio Enterprise, it's 11 feet, says Heffling. Welcome, Heffling. Yes, I knew it was like 11 or 12 feet or something like that. I can't remember where it was. I was reading it on. So this was back in the early days of the internet, and it was some guy who made one for a museum. It wasn't the one at the Smithsonian, obviously. It wasn't the actual studio miniature. It was some amateur model maker. He did a beautiful job. It looked fantastic. It was very, very good. He spent, ages and ages making it, but he just screwed up on the basic paint technology. The Studio Enterprise used a technique called Aztecing, where they sprayed on very light off colours over the warm white to add some visual detail, but leaving a white appearance. Indeed, they did. Except it wasn't white; it was greys and bluey greys. But yeah, to get that kind of panelling effect. If you look at the Studio Enterprise A, beautiful model, beautiful ship. They did that there. They had the base colour of the ship. And of course, the panelling, some of the panels were ever so slightly tinted like that, in that way. They used almost like spraying on glazes. And some of the panels were just the same base colour, but with a different finish. So like one panel might have a matte finish, the one next to it might have a slight satiny finish. And just when the light's shining on it, you get, sometimes it's a colour difference, a white and a light grey and a dark grey or a bluey grey. And sometimes you actually get just the same colour, but a totally different finish. And that also just the eye picks that out. And that's one of the reasons I think, if you look at the Wrath of Khan, my favourite Star Trek movie of all time, some of the shots in that, it really does look like a great big starship. Now I know the actual Enterprise clears mooring scene where it launches was from the motion picture, but still, because it's such a big model and they lit it so well and they did that Aztecing effect on it, that just makes it visually interesting and varied. It looks like a massive, massive thing. It doesn't look like a model. It's quite impressive what they did. If I'd been rich, wealthy man and I'd been around, when they auctioned off all the old studio models, things like the Enterprise A and stuff, I would have had that in my collection. Somebody somewhere has that model in their collection, and I hate them for it. Because that is a gorgeous model. Enterprise D, you may not know, and keep in mind, of course, when you see it on screen, it's totally different colour. A lot of people don't realise that the original Reliant model was shades of blues and greens. It wasn't actually grey. You see it on screen, it's grey. The filming miniature was like eggshell blues and greens, a bit like the Enterprise D was all blues and greens. But on screen it looks grey. So when I do my runabout, I've got the Federation runabout I need to build. When I do that kit, I've got the decision to make of, do I paint it to look like it did on the screen, which is kind of a grey colour? Do I paint it to look like the filming model, which is various shades of light greys and medium greys? Or do I paint it to look like the actual standing set, which when you see them board the runabout through the cogwheel doors on DS9, and you get a little hint of the hull in the doorway. You see the doorway into the runabout, and then the little hint of the hull. That's eggshell blue. It's like a light blue colour. It's like I can't really find the colour now. I've not got anything similar here, but it's like an eggshell blue colour. It's like, well, which one do you paint? Do you paint it eggshell, that kind of blue colour? Do you go for the greys? Or do you go for the filming model? So I've got that choice to make when I do eventually paint it. Or do I do like a hodgepodge of all three? Do you? The creative type that's doing it. When I do the Falcon, when I get around to painting the Falcon, what I do know about that is I'm not going to... All the Falcons I've done before in the past, I've tried to make them look like the studio model. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm not going to go off the... Well, I am going to go off the studio model paint scheme, but I'm not going to try and make it just look like the studio model. I'm kind of doing it as a real life interpretation. I'm going to use the studio model as a guide, but I'm going to say, what if this was a real ship? Let's give it real world weathering. So let's give it, you know, a dot filter and some streaking and some other bits and bobs and some grime, and let's give it some rust in places, because it's in atmosphere sometimes. Have some rust. So I'm not going to be like too busy sticking to the studio model weathering, because if you look at the studio model, you can definitely see the places where, for example, they've taken a straw and gone with some paint in the straw, and it's gone on the surface. I don't think it was an airbrush, because it looks like literally like a splat from a straw, which is probably kind of... And they did lots of things where they covered the whole thing in splodges from a toothbrush, like that. You can see all the little flicky... It looks like grease marks. Like if you go into somebody's kitchen and it's not been decorated for a while, it's got little splattery grease marks at the back of the hob. It looks like that. And it's just them flicking paint from paintbrushes and from toothbrushes and stuff. Which, by today's standards, you know, if I was doing a realistic model, you wouldn't use those techniques, because they look good on screen in a 5-foot model. But yeah, if you're making it... So it's going to be like a realistic job. I'll be obviously making it look like the Falcon, but doing a kind of real-world weathering on it. It'll just look like the Millennium Falcon, basically. We'll see. I think the Gonk will have to go into the Dettol so I can redo the exposed areas. Oh well, says Paul. He's painting a Star Wars Gonk. Yeah, if it's gone wrong, don't matter. Dettol it and start again. That's the beauty of it. Right, these are a pain in the bum. Quite literally a pain in the bum. To clean up and sand, because they're just a horrible shape. And I can't get the sanding stick in there. Ugh. Right, George, these scenery pieces aren't going to be the best painted in the world, because, yeah, I'm getting bored sanding these now. Got 3 more to do, and they're not exciting. The NCC 11701A from the Wrath of Khan is in the Smithsonian Museum. Oh, I'm sure I saw somebody who bought the... Maybe it's a different... Did they make more than one? They must have made more than one then, I guess, for filming. Unless it wasn't the A, I don't know. I'm sure I read an article with a guy that bought... Oh no, actually no, I stand corrected. Hang on, no, I've just remembered. It wasn't, it was the Enterprise E from that rubbish Nemesis film. Oh no, from First Contact, sorry. Which wasn't rubbish. I'm getting my 20 years ago stories mixed up. Don't know what I thought it was Enterprise A. Tell you what, I'd have that. I'd buy that. Hang on, but if it's in space, like deep, deep space, how can it be white, grey or purple with yellow spots? There is no lights, there's no colour. There is light in space, you spoon. In space, you're surrounded by 100 billion galaxies, and in each of those, 400 billion stars. There's plenty of light in space, flying through space. There's no light in space, how do we see the stars? Bless. That was so adorable. The Klingon D7 from the original series was light green, not grey. And Speedy Q8 says, and you're not risking the straw squirter weathering method in case you forget and suck the paint. Yeah, exactly. I would just go, oh, and suck the paint in, which would not be happy things. Would not be a happy moment. No. Nah, Dave, there's no sound in space. No one can hear you fart, but they know because you zoom across the room. Yes. Wrath of Khan special effects were fantastic and hold up, says EC. They were certainly. Some of the shots were reused from the original Star Trek: The Motionless Picture. But yeah. And this is one of the reasons I love the Wrath of Khan. I was saying in the stream the other day, like when you get like a modern film like some of the Star Wars prequels where they have a space battle and it's 50 billion things on screen flying around, and I'm like, crap, because there's too much going on. I don't know what's going on, and I can't focus on it. But when you've got like the Wrath of Khan, where it's 2 ships and they're moving slowly and just going, and that's it, and they're not doing any funny maneuvers, little bit of a yaw maybe. That's about. To me, that's much more interesting because it makes the ships as characters. It's not just, here is special effects shot 342 with everything going on. So I love the Wrath of Khan. 2 slow movies. It really is like just like submarine combat, submarine warfare in space, which is why I like it. I think Nicholas Meyer was right to take the naval tack when he made that film. You see what I did there? Naval tack. You see tack with the boats and the tack. Never mind. Apparently Gene Roddenberry wasn't too keen on the sort of the whole naval feel of that they brought in for the Wrath of Khan. But my response to that was, shut up, Gene. It was donated a few years ago from what I understand. Okay, well maybe the story I read was the Enterprise A then. And they've since donated it. I've been painting mine based on what would the set piece look like if you could see it. Hang on, I'll say that again. I've been painting mine based on what would the set piece look like if you could see all of it instead of the filming model with a bunch of limitation of my skill set. Yeah, just go for your imagination. But this is the thing that gets me. This is the thing that gets me. Some people say, well, I don't know what should I paint it like. What's the right colour scheme? When you're making a model, the only person who has any input into the creative process is you. The only person that makes any decisions about the colour scheme is you. The only person whose opinion matters on the model when it's finished is you. And whether it matches a real world thing or a thing in fiction or whatever, depending on what you're making, obviously, the only person who has any say in that and whoever has any valid say in that is you. If you want to build a World War II King Tiger and paint it in modern day digital camo or Hello Kitty pink or in, I don't know, made up colour scheme, then do it. There are no rules. You know, if you're making a kit of, say, a Star Wars vehicle, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I want to paint it like this, but I don't know if that's the right thing to do because the Star Wars people might get all angry about it. I'm like, doesn't matter. Who are you making this model for? You're making it for yourself. You're making it because you want to have fun. You're making it because you want to be able to sit back and look at it and say, I made that. It doesn't matter what somebody else thinks of it. It doesn't matter if it's correct or incorrect. There is no such thing as incorrect or correct. It's just a nonsense to think that. So if you just want to go ahead and paint it like you imagine it, do it. You know, no one ever said to Picasso, you know, the eyes really should be on different sides of the head. That's not how art works. Remember, when you're making a model, it's art. Model making is not something separate from art. A model making is art. We just happen to do our art in 3 dimensions. If I go and paint a Churchill tank, you know, do a painting of, say, a Churchill tank, it's not going to look like a realistic depiction of a Churchill tank. I might use an impressionistic style. I might use a kind of real painterly, brushstrokey oil paint style. I might use a Tamiya box art style. I could paint it as a cubist image. I could even go vorticist on it or anything like that. You know, but nobody, when somebody paints something like a 2D painting, you don't have this big backlash of it's not realistic, it's not correct. Tanks were never that colour. They look at the art for the art involved. They look at the, not necessarily the subject of it always, but the execution of it. We're just artists that just happen to work in 3 dimensions. If you want to make a model and paint it in a certain way, then there's no one is the arbiter of that apart from you. And if someone comes along and says that's not right, you shouldn't do that, that's not, then that person is a complete douche and doesn't understand how art actually works. Because if you just spend your life, you know, worrying that you just spend your life trying to paint something that's correct, then you're not embracing the creative side of this hobby. You're not doing it for the right reasons. You're effectively painting something to impress or to satisfy other people that aren't you. That's not why you do this. You do this because you want to enjoy the process. You want to get creative. It's almost as ridiculous as somebody saying to me when I draw some kind of silly animal character, well, that's not good, that's not correct because humans don't look like that. And I'm like, it's a fox. It's a man with a reindeer head. It's what you want about. No different. Painting models is no different. So yeah, don't get hung up on what's correct and what's, you know, is this what it looked like in the film, or just paint it how you want to paint it. There's no right or wrong. I do see people that get hung up on that a lot, and they get kind of nervous, like, oh, well, I want to make this model, but I don't want to get it wrong. I want to make X, Y, or Z, but I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to risk upsetting the people that have a vested interest in this, whatever it is I'm making. And it's like, why do you give a crap what everybody else thinks? Make it because you want to make it. Paint it how you want to paint it because you enjoy painting it. Nobody else's opinion is irrelevant at all in any point at that stage. Doodle-doo, doodle. You know, you want to do a Spitfire and paint it in gloss black primer and C1 metalizer to get a shiny chrome metal effect. I'm not going to tell you that's wrong because it's awesome. Nobody's opinion matters other than your own. You are the arbiter of your own preferences and tastes. If you spend too much time worrying about what other people think, then maybe a creative hobby is not the hobby for you. And it sounds really harsh to say that, but I can't stress that enough. If you're in a creative hobby, you're in it because you want to create. And you create what you want to create for yourself. If other people like that, brilliant. There'll always be someone who likes what you do. Whatever you do in life, creatively, there'll always be someone who understands it or appreciates it and thinks it's great. But that's not why you create. You don't create to please people. You create because you have the urge to create and do something creative. Sorry, knocking the camera. And if you're in a creative hobby, but your entire focus is this what people want or will people like it, then I don't think you're the kind of person that needs to be in a creative hobby. Because if your entire creation, if all your creations are based on what people are going to accept, you're not creating. Your hands are tied by what you think is other people's opinions, and there's no creation there. That's not creation. You're a gilded. You're a bird in a cage, basically. You're going to be creative. You can't have a bird cage. You've got to just think to yourself, I've made this thing. I'm going to paint. I think it'll look brilliant if I paint it like this. I don't give a crap what anybody else thinks. This is how I'm doing it. And then you say, there you go. What do you think? And some people might grumble, but the rest will be like, that's cool. And you know what? You just ignore the people that grumble. Because everybody likes different things. Nobody likes the same thing as anybody else. Otherwise, there'd be no such thing as creativity. If we all like the same thing, life would be really, really boring. So don't give a flying crap about what anybody else thinks. Don't think to yourself ever, but what if? Don't think that. Look at the thing. See in your mind how you want it to look when it's finished, and make that happen. That's it. That's my entire golden rule. Of all the rules I always come out with, all of them, that's one of the main ones. Have a vision, make it happen. That's what being creative is about. No one else has any part to play in that process, unless they're paying you, in which case they have 100% to say. If somebody wants you to make a Lancaster bomber and you paint it in Hello Kitty pink, they're not going to be happy and pay you, but, you know, hey. Right. Team Inept goes all crime and says, I are artist, I do so much arts. Right, where are we? Look at the chat. Best line in Under Siege Dark Territory. Wait, what? Video Creator says the best line in Under Siege Dark Territory. I have no idea what that is, but it says that's why they call it space. You there? What was that? I said that's why they call it space. There's a lot of it. Yes, thank you. Shut up. Ah, joke died. I see what you did there with the tack and stuff. Clever girl, says Paul. Yes. The thing about space, the colour of space, your basic space colour. Great anime space naval battles. Watch Star Blazers 2199, or which we call Space Battleship Yamato 2199, which is sitting under this desk right now unassembled. I'm so glad someone got that reference. I kind of guessed it was a Red Dwarf reference. Team Inept says, I'll put it politely, screw what the Star Wars nerds think, they're morons. Star Wars people are always angry. With you, Fox, as EC. Well said. The model is yours. Make it awesome for yourself. No, Fox, there is tiny amounts of light waves from stars. If the builder sail, they will have to permanently shine a laser on it to keep it moving because of the lack of light photons in space. No, that's how solar sails work. There's always radiation traveling through space. There's always photons traveling. There's billions and billions and billions of stars putting out infinite amounts of photons. They might be far apart, but they're still there. That's the entire premise of a solar sail, you see. You make the solar sail, and they I can't remember the word now. There's a name of a force. Somebody tell me in chat what it is. There's a name of a force. Cherenkov. No, not Cherenkov radiation. That's the glow of a nuclear reactor. There's a radiation. There's it might be Cherenkov radiation. Basically, the force enacted on an object by the tiniest amount of energy from a photon. So, for example, the reason that an asteroid may suddenly change its tack is because it's floating through space. La 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 la. But you get the light will shine on one part of it, say from a distant star, even just like one photon, but will have an effect. It will transfer energy as it hits the asteroid. It will transfer energy. And therefore, that will be worked out as heat. That one little tiny bit will be a little tiny bit warmer than the rest of the asteroid, and that will cause movement in space. Now, obviously, one photon's not going to make much difference, but over time, with enough interference, and somebody tell me what it's called. I can't remember what it's called now. It's the something or other. Basically, if you could, even with a small number of, a small amount of light shining on an object, it will warm it up enough to have a temperature gradient, which will cause movement or cause gassing off of an asteroid or whatever, and that will cause you to move. And with solar sails, it's the delicate tiny push of even a single photon is enough, if you build it up over time, to accelerate an object or a spaceship to quite close to the speed of light over enough time. We're talking vast amounts of time and distance. But I can't remember what it's called. It's the Tsiolkovsky. No, not Tsiolkovsky. It's some Russian-y name anyway. It's the force imparted by even the... Moving on. It's all good deep science stuff here. If there was no light in space there, we wouldn't see like the moon or the stars or planets or anything. So there's light in space. If there's no light in space, we wouldn't see anything from the sun. Lots of light in space. Don't worry about that. Plenty of light out there. Cynical Steve says, I always make stuff just for me, but feedback is always good, especially on those few occasions when I've made something halfway decent. I made an RAF Night Fighter T-70 X-Wing because I wanted to, said EC Idaho, and I bet it looked fantastic. Osric said, I painted my F-23 Stealth Fighter from Japanese Navy two-tone blue colours because it would look cool. Exactly. If I make up my own Space Marine chapter, I'll probably use very similar to Space Wolf's colours because the colours are cool. There you go. Paul at Team Inept confirms that Cherenkov radiation is indeed the blue glow from the nucleus. Yeah, that's the when you walk into a nuclear reactor, like you do, and you see the under the water. There's that blue glow. That's called Cherenkov radiation. Somebody tell me what it's called. Somebody tell me what it's called. I can't remember. Oh, it's called something. The force imparted by. Anyway, let's move on. Dad says still no internet. Not looking good then, is it, Dad? Really? Your stream. Come in the hangout later and we can debate it, says Dave. I'll be watching Chris and then I'll be watching Ted. Unfortunately, then before that I'll be doing my tea, having my tea, my noodles. Oh, I need to order my noodles and eat them with my face. Right, it's coming up to 10 to 6. How much have I got done today? Team Inept says to Dad, copper wire gone in walkies again, and Dad says, dope, never thought of that one, Paul. Scumbags. He does live around Liverpool way, doesn't he? So, yeah. Look how much I have done today with my hands of doing. I've not done them two yet. I've done quite a little bit today. I know it's only gluing together like 5 bits, but shut up. Don't harsh my melon. Melon? No, mellow even. Harsh my mellow. Don't harsh my melon either. Oh God, shut up, Fox. I'm not even using words now. When you walk into a nuclear reactor, you don't notice the blue glow because you're busy being in agony from massive internal bleeding. I didn't mean like right into the. I mean like the bits you can walk into. I noticed that Fox didn't take my Yamato Norm nub bait. I didn't see it. Where are we? The good thing about the space battleship Yamato is that you don't need to remove the nubs. I saw Norm build it and take that, and he knows everything. Yeah. The joke's died now. Anyway, yes, we built some stuff. That's going to do us. I think we'll call it there. Is my button still working? Let's have a look. Wow, buttons are still working. Yeah, that deserves a TED.
Slap it on.
Everything deserves a TED. I think we'll leave it there. I forgot that one. More. I'll get these two finished later on when I'm watching the streams from later on. I will be back tomorrow, obviously, for the E-Models live stream tomorrow night. I may do a Millennium Falcon stream tomorrow, but I don't want to cross over Nat and Lewis's stream if they're doing a stream tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see. If not, I'll probably do one Tuesday. But yes, I will be back with more Millennium Falconing live streams as I'm building the Falcon up. So expect lots of those. Once I get everything built, I can paint it. There'll be normal videos. I'll go quiet again, but until then, I'll be doing lots of live streams. But yes, I'll be back tomorrow for the E-Models live stream. Don't forget, like I say, check out Dad's channel in about 20 minutes anyway, just on the off chance. You never know. Because you never, he might get a channel, he might get a stream going, but if not, don't panic. Chris will be doing his premiere on Chris Gross Models channel at 8 PM. Premiere of his Lego episode. And then 9 PM is the most important thing of this entire month is Ted doing his Baneblade, starting his Baneblade. That's, if you do anything else this week, that's the thing you need to do. Ted with his Baneblade. It's very important you watch that. You all need to make sure you go there and watch that. And that's on, of course, Skipper Scale Models. Cherenkov radiation, pretty but terrifying, says Paul. Nobody still told me what that effect is on the radiation of heat in space through photon. Yeah, nobody's told me what that's called yet. You're all rubbish, honestly, tell you that. But yes, that's going to do it. So thank you very much for watching. I'm going to put my other glasses on so I can see. Other than that, during the week, we'll try and do some more. We'll do some more Falcon live streams. Other than that, that's about it on the books at the minute. Once that's done, I can crack on with the Tabletop Trauma Centre. If you're a patron and you don't know what that is, because you may have joined after December, if you're a patron, go back through. There's no way to search for. Oh, there might be a tag for it, but go and have a search for Tabletop Trauma Centre on the patron page, or just have a search for all the posts, the video posts. There's probably a search for. I don't know. There'll be a search in there somewhere. Have a look through. There is a video from December time, I think, telling you what Tabletop Trauma Centre is going to be and showing you a sneak peek of what the first episode will be about. Yes. For everybody else, you'll find out eventually. But anyway, that's going to do us. Oh, the Yarkovsky effect. That might be it. Is that what I'm talking about? That sounds about right. I knew it was some Russian bloke. They're always Russians anyway. Is the Yarkovsky effect. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Be safe. Wash your damn hands. No excuses. There's an enormous finger when the camera's that close. Wash your damn hands. And I shall say, until next time, adios amoebas. I'll give you one last TED to be going on with.
Slap it on.
Ta-ta for now. Bye.